Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto master Adamantine sealing and attacking chains during the Chunin exam part 2. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 3. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Kamado Uzumaki, son of Tanjiro Uzumaki. Says Kamado, making the whole Kumo delegation freeze in fear. In Kumo it's told that Tanjiro Uzumaki, the true Susanoo, was the man who stood against Gold and Silver brothers, Ginkaku and Kinkaku, the two brothers from Kumo who survived in the Nine-Tails' stomach by eating his flesh and later being regurgitated out of the fox, giving them unusually large chakra reserves. And with their newfound powers, the brothers assaulted the second Raikage. During his peace pact with the second Hokage Tobirama Senju, to stage a coup d'etat. Managing to bring the second Hokage to the verge of death, the brothers are declared disgraces for their treacherous actions and deceptive natures. Despite this, they are still highly respected in Kumo for their strength and skill. However, Tanjiro Uzumaki later fought the brothers in battle and inevitably killed them in what would be a 3-day-long battle, and by using storm release to kill the brothers who were distant relatives of the Sage of Six Paths. It would earn him the name of True Susanoo due to fighting the two who were able to use the boost in chakra they got from Kurama and besting the two who wielded the 5 treasured tools of the Sage of Six Paths. Kamado Uzumaki, on the other hand, was a bit different because during his prime, when he participated in the SSS rank mission assigned by Danzo, he fought the third Raikage and Inoki the fence-sitter in his youth and won, but with the third Raikage they fought many times in the past before the mission. In all, 8 out of 8 battles with the Raikage being won by Kamado Uzumaki. This also showed the world that those of the Uzumaki blood weren't just known for sealing and being a peaceful clan, they were known for being outright brutal and bloody in battle. Oh, alright. Forgive me, says the first Kumo delegate. Yes, now you said you wanted a war, go ahead. From where we're sitting we can afford one. You on the other hand cannot. Says Kamado, making that clear. How so? Because you seem to forget one thing, that Kumo has the numbers in terms of military strength in a war. Says the second Kumo delegate. Yes, for which we match you in greater terms. Says Kamado with a calm voice. Oh really? But didn't you face the Nine-Tails attack just 3 years ago? Asks the third Kumo delegate knowingly, with his grin returning. Your village is still recovering, it's you who can't afford a war. Says the fourth Kumo delegate. 3 years ago that would have been the case, but as you see the village now, we're ready. Kumo in terms of population has a 3/5, 4/5 in military and 5/5 in economy. Konoha in terms has a 5/5 for population, 5/5 in military and 5/5 in economy. Says Kamado, making this very clear. It was true. Thanks to Kamado, who had previously served under Hiruzen as his advisor, made Konoha very strong, and in just 3 years of returning he brought it back to where it needed to be, and Hiruzen helped lay out the groundwork for him, considering Hiruzen could only focus on so much. Kamado wore no hat, yet he was all a Kage should be, the right hand of Sarutobi that Danzo never could or never tried to be. That will change soon enough, says the fifth Kumo delegate. You seem to forget that we have the Raikage, a strong military, and 2 full realized Jinchuriki. Says the first Kumo delegate with a smile. Yes, but you've lost the war already. Says Kamado, still not shifting his current mood, as everyone was wondering how. How so? Asks the first Kumo delegate with narrowed eyes. We have the same in terms of military, along with a fully realized Jinchuriki. The strongest, in fact. Says Kamado, bluffing, as the Kumo delegation didn't know. Kamado was using time to his advantage in a situation like this along with facts. After all, a lot can happen in 3 years. Make a good enough bluff, and no one can refute the words. It still doesn't make us see where we lost at? Says the second Kumo delegate with folded arms. Well, for one, we interrogated the other shinobi. Found out they had a mission from your 4th Raikage to capture the Hyuga clan heir. Says Kamado, shocking the room now. What? Says the 4th Kumo delegate, standing up outraged now. You interrogated them? He asked with clear anger present on his face. Sit down and calm yourself, says Kamado, calmly hardening his face now within a tone of command and voice. As he said this, the Kumo delegate felt uneasy and decided to sit as told. Once done, Kamado began to speak again. Now of course we did. It's our village and our rules, and Noichi got sufficient information to prove it, and here we are. Says Kamado with Noichi nodding at the words. This is part of how you lose really altogether. Says Kamado with folded arms. Part? Asked the 5th Kumo delegate, not liking this at all now. Yes, I would like to know how they lost. Says Danzo, finally speaking up. You lost when you entered this village. You lost when your village failed to eradicate the Uzumaki in the Third War. Lost when the 4th Hokage beat your current leader in battle during said war. Lost when you walked through the village gates to sign a treaty, not being aware of the jurisdiction our nation and village has. Says Kamadu, making this fact clear as he continued. And now you think you can take on the Uzumaki, Inazuka, Aburame, Uchiha, Hyuga, Nara, Yamanaka, and Sarutobi clans in a war along with the rest of our shinobi forces? I'd say you're all really bold when it comes to your village priding itself on brute force. Says Kamadu, shocking everyone alongside the delegation as he continued to speak. As it stands, Konoha has the strategy, the patience, money, resources, and power along with men and women to fight a war. Enough to send you scampering back to the shit pile of mountains in the clouds you like to call home. You want a war? We're ready for it. Says Kamadu, daring them to say something to refute this. A dangerous man indeed, thought Danzo, knowing how Kamadu was. That's how Dad is. Calm, collected, smart, quiet, but always assessing and thinking ahead, thought Tanjiro with a nod. Focus, commitment, and sheer will. Really, Kamadu, you haven't changed a bit, thought Biwako with smirk. The stories you told me, Kushina, just doesn't do justice compared to the real thing, thought Mikoto, surprised. I can see why his clan stands behind his leadership and his children's leadership. Proves why they're a strong clan, thought Shikaku. They've lost and they know it, thought all of the rest of the Konoha side and Umbu there, hearing the assessment. He's got them by the throat, so this is why Lord Third called him back. But Kamadu mainly came back only for his grandson. So Lord Third had to ask Kamadu to stay for the village, and now I see why, thought some surprise because all she had was stories from Kushina. We are a proud nation, and will not be humiliated like this, says the second Kumo delegate angrily. A proud nation with a shameless reputation, says Tanjiro, making the delegate become quiet now. While a peace treaty was formed between all the villages to cut back on military budget and reduce the sizes of their forces during times of peace, Kumo secretly does not honor the agreement as seen here, seeing this as a chance to ensure that no other village can ever have an upper hand should hostilities later resume. Says Shikaka, pointing this out. Kumo's efforts to amass power often entail stealing secrets and kidnapping shinobi from other villages. Just how you tried with my daughter Kushina Uzumaki, who was saved by Minato Namikaze. And now you are doing it with the Hyuga clan years later, need I go on? Asks Kamadu, driving the final nail in the coffin and catching them by the neck like the prey. It became apparent to everyone in the room now that the Kumo delegation was in deadlock. With nothing else to say, or any way to speak around the facts, it was very clear that Kumo lost the battle of words. As they were all quiet for a few moments thinking on what to do next, before one of them from the delegation spoke out. Alright, then where do we move forward from here? Asked the third Kumo delegate, sweating a bit, as Kamadu spoke. Firstly, you will drop the threats of war with me because I'm not easily moved. Second, to fix the damage you've put us in, your nation and village will be taxed on resources and trade from the Land of Fire by a 5% increase as part of your punishment. Says Kamadu as he continued further. Your Raikage, for his part, will hand over jutsu of our number range from D rank to S rank. He will also sign to the treaty we draw up and you will accept. In exchange, we will let this mishap be overlooked, along with not mentioning to the other villages what has transpired here. Are we clear? Asks Kamadu with a cold gaze. The Kumo delegation looks at Kamadu for a few moments, and then to each other as they speak amongst themselves. For 2 minutes they do this, only to speak out again. Can we have 15 minutes to decide? Asks the first Kumo delegate. You have it, says Hiruzen as they got up to leave with Kamadu sealing the room. Are we going to give them nothing in return? Asked Danzo, a bit shocked at all of this. Not at all, they don't deserve it, says Kamadu calmly. You're kidding. This was already a bad situation, so now you want to leave them with nothing? Not even their dignity? Asks Danzo, looking for argument, while a bit angry. They lost that when they tried to take a child from this village, says Kamadu, now being irritated with Danzo. Well, let's see how this plays out, says Danzo with a narrowed eye, as Hiruzen intervened now. The both of you need to calm down. Let's see what their answer will be, says Hiruzen, trying to defuse the situation. For the next 15 minutes, everyone sat talking amongst themselves. The time passed quickly, as the Kumo delegation came back into the room only to sit down once more. As the first delegate spoke. We accept the terms, says the first Kumo delegate, as he continued speaking. But on the condition that we still have a life for a life. The one who is responsible for the head ninja's death, says the first Kumo delegate. As Kamadu was about to speak on this, Danzo decided to quick speak in order to beat him to it. You have it, say Danzo, making all of the Konoha side look shocked, especially Hayashi. Very well. Do whatever else with the treaty. We'll inform the Reikage, says the Kumo delegation. Once this was said, the entire delegation went go up from their seats to leave, now with the Konoha side standing too. Though right now, it was a win for Konoha, but no so much for a good reason. That should balance out this whole thing. One sacrifice should suffice, says Danzo with a nod of head, only to have Kamadou swiftly turn and punch him hard in the face. The force from the blow to Danzo's face instantly broke his nose, as Kamadou went to use his adamantine sealing chains to choke and restrain the Rutambu, who appeared from the shadows. You're a fool! You would risk someone's life when we had them by the throat, says Kamadou, yelling angrily now, as he took a moment to calm himself down a bit. I will say this, as I said it to you years ago. You have no regard for your own shinobi, which is why Lord Second chose Hiruzen over you. You were never fit to be Hokage, let alone chase after such a goal, says Kamadou in a very harsh tone. Once this was said, Kamadou released the passed-out Rutambu from his chains as he turned to walk out of the room, intent on moving forward with something he had in mind. After this, the Hyuga clan handed over Hayashi's twin brother, Hizashi Hyuga, who was part of the clan's branch family. Kumo handed over the jutsu that Konoha had asked for, some of which were retrieved by Konoha's shinobi by infiltrating Kumogakure on a mission during the whole process that ended up with them succeeding in taking what they came for. Kumogakure signed the new treaty that would make them neutral and not allies with no threat of war. And on the trade and resources that they would pay for from the Land of Fire would be taxed on by 5%. Kumogakure had also lost the proceedings entirely, due to one final move Kamadou made against the rival village. He informed all the nations and their daimyoes of what happened and to not to trust their treaties, the reason being was because Kamadou would not let them have victory in taking a life for a life, when Kumo was clearly in the wrong for this offense. So far, Kumogakure has stayed silent on the matter, but they're most likely feeling backlash from both inside and outside their borders, along with backlash from their nation's daimyo. End flashback. It was necessary, says Danzo, not really worried about it in the slightest. For someone's life to be sacrificed. It was not, says Kamadou with a very cold gaze. What about you? Killing 4 Hyuga clan members in public as a warning for a mishap? Says Danzo, angrily speaking now. These words of anger quickly made the room uneasy now, as Kamadou was releasing Ki in massive droves. Mishap? They tried to kill my grandson for something that wasn't his fault, and you call it a mishap? Asked Kamadou, entirely losing his temper as he spoke once more. You'd better watch what you say from now about my family, otherwise I'll remove that head from your shoulders, says Kamadou, now daring the man to make another foolish remark. Forgive me for that earlier statement. I was hasty in my response, says Danzo, outwardly calm but on the inside, very much affected. Upon hearing this, Kamadou calms himself down a bit while stopping the heavy release of Ki, as Danzo turned his attestation back to Hiruzen. Back to the topic of discussion. They're preparing for a coup d'etat, says Danzo, getting back on the subject. We have tried to stop it, not moving them away to the outskirts, and even giving them leeway, says Kamadou, pointing this out, as he continued. If you had listened to bringing them back to the governing body of the village along with giving them a voice in the village, then we would not be in this situation now, says Kamadou. There is one who can nip it in the bud, says Hiruzen, getting the two men's attention, as he leans his head to see the door. Shursui, says Hiruzen, calling out the name. As Shursui comes into the room, and bows to one knee. Shursui Uchiha? Asks Danzo, curious at why the young man was here. Shursui will attend the assembly. If Fugaku Uchiha incites a rebellion, Shursui orders are to, says Hiruzen, trailing off, allowing Shursui to speak now. Use my Kodo Amatsukami, says Shursui, answering calmly now. You'll use your visual jutsu? Asks Danzo. Fugaku will have absolutely no clue Shursui is using a genjutsu to control his actions, says Hiruzen, explaining this to both Danzo and Kamadou. I will make Fugaku think about coexistence with the village, says Shursui, determined to succeed in this. I doubt that controlling only Fugaku will bring an end to the Uchiha's dissatisfaction, says Danzo, already doubtful, as Hiruzen spoke. No, if the Uchiha will change, then we of the Leaf must change as well. We must improve our treatment of the Uchiha as a whole, says Hiruzen, explaining his reasoning. That means bringing them back fully into the fold, says Kamadou, reminding Danzo of this. That's what I'm hoping for, says Shursui with a nod. I will assign one Umbu to be with you behind the scenes. I'm counting on you, says Hiruzen as Shursui nods in understatement. Yes, sir, says Shursui looking to horizon. Uchiha territory, Naka Shrine. It is now sunset over the village, as members of the Uchiha clan walk up the stairs into the Naka Shrine. As Fugaku was standing near the top of the stairway, having his arms folded and Mikoto waiting with a worried expression on her face. Itachi still isn't here, says Mikoto with a sad expression. Fugaku just grunts at hearing this. Mikoto for her part is worried about Itachi because even he doesn't agree with the path their clan is taking. She really cared for both of her boys, and would do anything to protect them both. So now, coming to a conclusion of her own with a very irritated expression, Mikoto decides to turn and walk off down the stairs now. As Fugaku looks to her and speaks. "Where are you going?" asks Fugaku with narrowed eyes with tone of interrogation, as Mikoto turned her head. "I'm not going to be a part of this. I've tried speaking to you, and clearly that has not worked. From here on out, do whatever you want because I will not play a part in any of this," says Mikoto with a glare, as she went to disappear in a body flicker. Once she left, Fugaku was gritting his teeth a bit, not expecting things to end up how they were now. "Damn it," says Fugaku, not liking how things were going so far. With Itachi. Currently, Itachi is in his Anbu uniform, now waiting and leaning on a boulder in order for Shursui to arrive soon. He's late, thought Itachi as he put on his Anbu mask. With Naruto. Naruto is currently finding targets through the wooded areas of Konoha to practice his bow and arrow on accuracy. "How much further do you need to go, Naruto?" asked Kurama, generally curious. "Don't know. Honestly, I'm just exploring right now," thought Naruto, responding, as he continued roaming around. With Shursui. Shursui was currently standing in front of a shrine with Danzo, wondering what he could want right now. "What is it, Lord Danzo?" "It's almost time for the assembly to begin," says Shursui as he is on guard from the advice Kamadu gave him. With Naruto. Naruto was now currently jumping from tree to tree, as he soon stopped, only to notice a temple nearby with two people standing outside it, as he recognized one individual. "Hey, isn't that Shursui? But who is the other man? Because I can sense a huge amount of negative emotions coming off him," thought Naruto, seeing this with narrowed eyes. "Naruto! Suppress your chakra immediately and prepare an arrow, right now," says Kurama, yelling in the seal with urgency, as Naruto did so quickly. Okay, but seriously, what's wrong?" thought Naruto, asking Kurama with much worry in his voice. "Widen your sensory ability," says Kurama in the seal. Naruto raised his eyebrow for a moment, only to do as told and become very concerned. "There are others here, many others. But they seem to be only watching," thought Naruto with his eyes widening in shock. "Yes, they can't sense you because of what I told you to do. Honestly, I'm glad I taught you how to suppress your chakra fully as a first lesson," says Kurama in the seal, grateful that he did that. "Okay, but that guy was Shursui. I'll aim for him just in case," thought Naruto, responding as he had the arrow ready to let loose. Back with Shursui and Danzo. "What if your visual jutsu gets Fugaku and the clan to cooperate, but then the Leaf Village refuses to change?" asks Danzo. "Lord Hokage has given me his word that he will make it change, and with Lord Kamadu by his side it will," says Shursui, not wavering in his belief. "Is this what Lord Kamadu meant by be wary? If so, then it's exactly like he told me. Danzo is a paranoid bastard," thought Shursui, remembering the earlier conversation he had with Kamadu. As this thought went through his mind, Danzo started to speak again. "Even if he's satisfied that the Uchiha have reformed, the distrust among the Leaf won't go away," says Danzo, pointing this out. "I realize that, but in time they will. What you have to ask is whose fault is it for the distrust? Considering you were the one that suggested that the clan stay back in the attack on the village years before," says Shursui calmly, not showing any ill emotions. "Kamado's gotten to him. This isn't good," thought Danzo as he spoke again. "Besides, people like me, people who are always suspicious, will never truly change." "What will you do then?" asks Danzo with his head down a bit. "But Lord Danzo," says Shursui, not liking where this is going. "Lord Kamadu is right. Danzo is paranoid of everyone, even his own village," thought Shursui, now on subtle guard. "When the time comes, will you use your Kodo Amatsukami on me as well?" asks Danzo, dropping his cane. "I," says Shursui, unable to find an answer, as Danzo moves forward a bit. "Your Sharingan shall be in my safekeeping," says Danzo, reaching for his eye, as Shursui uses his Sharingan quickly in order to stop him. "Forgive me," says Shursui, using Genjutsu on Danzo, as he grabbed the man's hand while he went limp by just a bit, still standing. "It's only genjutsu. You'll snap out of it soon," says Shursui, walking away as he had a thought. "I need to get to Lord Kamadu so that he can inform Lord Third, but I need to get to the meeting. Itachi is waiting for me," thought Shursui, walking away now, as he was suddenly punched in the stomach. The force from the blow managed to knock the air out of him, as Danzo had disappeared and faded away from sight, as the real one had appeared to hit Shursui in the stomach, managing to crack a few ribs, as Shursui was punched in the face next at least 3 times, only to then be lifted up at the hair by Danzo with one hand. Danzo wasn't finished, as he cleanly ripped Shursui's eye out of his socket. As Shursui landed to the ground, holding his socket where the eye used to be, only to jump back, landing on his knees. And with Shursui breathing hard, he looked up to see Danzo unwrapping the bandages around his head, showing he had a Sharingan in his right eye. "Sharingan," says Shursui in pain along with shock upon seeing this now. "I'll take yours to replace this eye. Now give me the other one too," says Danzo, ordering him. As 8 Root Umbu appeared around Danzo, ready to attack. This action being performed in front of Shursui put him on edge, knowing he would have to fight and hope for escape. Though this thought quickly vanished, as the first 3 Root Umbu in front of Danzo were hit by arrows through the neck with dead on accuracy. "What?" says Danzo with shock in his voice, as he was the next to be hit by 7 arrows in quick succession. The first grazed his forehead, enough that it would make a straight scar. The second hit his neck, but not deep enough to kill, but cut all the same and drew blood. As for the others, he wasn't so lucky. The third hit his left shoulder, the fourth hit went through the left forearm. The fifth and sixth had pierced him through the left thigh, as the seventh and last went through Danzo's left calf. "Ah!" says Danzo, yelling in a lot of pain, still clutching the eye in his hand, so he does not drop it. "Lord Danzo!" says the remaining Root Umbu, yelling out now. As more arrows continued to come raining down on the Root Umbu, Shursui recognized something about them, and knew who was firing them. Naruto, thought Shursui, seeing the arrows. He knew they were just normal arrows, but he could tell by the red color of the arrow nock was his. So he quickly put this thought away, and went through hand seals. "Fire style, fireball jutsu," says Shursui, expelling fire from his mouth, creating a fireball to be shot at Danzo and his Umbu. The fireball came speeding towards them, as the Root Umbu ran forward, speeding through hand seals. "Water style, raging waves," says the Root Umbu as they shoot off streams of water to stop the attack. As they did so to combat the fireball, the arrows never stopped coming in. And to the Root Umbu's surprise, on these arrows were explosive tags tied at the ends. So upon seeing this, the explosive tags lit up and exploded in their faces. Boom! The explosion forces them to body flicker backwards, as both the smoke and steam clear up to show everything, along Shursui nowhere in sight. Teleportation jutsu, says one of the Root Umbu, knowing this was Shursui's specialty. Upon hearing this, Danzo looked around a bit, still in extreme pain, as he only went to speak out. "Go," says Danzo, grunting out, as they disappeared to give chase. With Shursui and Naruto. Shursui currently had Naruto in his grip while running away from the area on treetops. Though right now, he looked at Naruto and spoke. "Do you know how reckless and dangerous that was, Naruto? You could have been hurt," asked Shursui, angry and worried for Naruto. "And let the mummified bastard take your eyes? No way am I letting that happen," says Naruto, equally angry that Shursui was angry and being ungrateful. Right now, Shursui was having a thought about what he just heard while calming down. Must have heard that from his uncle Tanjiro or one of his other uncles or aunts, thought Shursui with a blank look, as also remembered that Naruto killed those men back there, and was most likely being strong right now until they're away to safety. "Listen, Naruto, thanks for saving me back there because I owe you. But for now, we got incoming," says Shursui, looking behind him to see pursuers. "Don't worry, I got our escape covered," says Naruto as he puts his hand into a half-tiger/ram seal to activate something, but looks at Shursui. "Use body flicker to teleport us as far ahead when I activate what I'm about to do," says Naruto, with Shursui nodding, as he put his plan into motion. "Activate," says Naruto now, activating hundreds upon many of explosive tags across the forest. The explosives tags all over light up, while making trip wires come to life around the area. As Shursui went to teleport further now, in order to not get caught in the blast. As the Root Umbu pursuing them are all but caught in wire strings, as the explosive tags go off in a fury that can be heard from miles away. Boom! The explosion is so loud that it can be heard around the village, while putting everyone around the village on alert, as heavy black smoke rises up into the air, with Mikoto. Mikoto was currently walking to the Senju Uzumaki district to see Naruto. But on her way, she heard the loud explosions. Upon hearing this, it forced her stop walking and look back to see heavy amounts of black smoke. With nearby villagers look on as well with concern. That's not good, says Mikoto, seeing shinobi go in that direction. With Hiruzen. Hiruzen was currently sitting down in his office, doing paperwork as he heard the explosions himself. Only to get up from his chair and leave with his Izumbu in order to check it out. With Itachi. Currently with Itachi, he was still waiting on Shursui, as he heard the explosions too. And ultimately decided not to go, and continued to wait for Shursui as he pulls out a box of Pocky sticks. Come to Papa, says Itachi, now enjoying his snack. Naka Shrine. As we do this, we are going to begin Fugaku, but can hear the explosion and feel the shaking, and so does the rest of the gathered Uchiha. We'll end our discussion right here for now, says Fugaku, rushing to walk out. As many of the clansmen go to follow Fugaku, with some staying behind in order to hide the evidence of this secret meeting hall, if anyone should come. Senju Uzumaki District. Everyone in the district heard the explosion, as many had to come out of their homes to see what caused it, only to see the black smoke. With some of the shinobi, who lived there, going as far as to now run towards it. As Momo looks on with a worried expression on her face. Where is Naruto? Is Naruto going to be home soon? Asks Momo, worried about her grandson, as she continued looking on at the smoke. He should be, but I'll go look for him right now, says Tanjiro, easing his mother's worry as he went to leave. I'll go with you, says Ju, getting up as well in order to go with him. I as well, says Hiyori, joining them as they went to leave. With Shursui and Naruto. Shursui and Naruto looked back to see the after effects of the explosion, as Shursui had his one eye looking at the area with shock. The reason why was due to most of the area being destroyed, as fire was everywhere along with smoke rising in very quick succession. Knowing the root Umbu were caught in the blast. As Naruto smiled, knowing this wouldn't kill them but would leave them badly burnt and out of commission for a while. Score 1 for me. 0 for them, says Naruto with a grin, as Shursui spoke now. Naruto, how did you learn to make traps like that? Asked Shursui, very concerned at such work. From 3 books called Trap Making and How to Destroy Your Enemy, and Trap Making and How to Be Creative, and lastly Trap Making and How to Have Fun with It, all by Madara Uchiha. Isn't it awesome? Asks Naruto excitedly, as Shursui sweats heavily from this, considering he knew Naruto could be creative with pranks. Naruto, says Shursui very calmly. Yeah? Asks Naruto, wondering what it was. You're a good kid, says Shursui, now looking forward. Oh, thanks? Asks Naruto while sweat dropping at the words. Once this was said, Shursui turned his head to Naruto and spoke once more. Okay Naruto, is there a way you can sneak me into your clan compound without being seen? Asked Shursui, as Naruto nodded. There is, but don't tell anybody. Consider it a clan secret, one that you will know, says Naruto in full seriousness, as Shursui nodded. I won't tell anyone, says Shursui, making this known, as Naruto nodded again. Alright. Let's go, says Naruto, looking forward. Shursui teleported even further now. Senju Uzumaki District. Currently it is now night time over the village, as everyone in the family was wondering where Naruto was, considering he should have been back hours ago, and it didn't help with that explosion a few hours earlier. So now, most of the clan was out searching for their red-haired clansmen, while others came back to the main house now. This is starting to worry me a lot, says Biwako, sitting at a table with folded arms alongside Mikoto, who she ran into on the way here. Yes, it's been an hour and no sign of Naruto, says Mikoto, equally concerned. We have most of the clan out searching for him, so he should turn up soon, says Ju, trying to ease their worries, as his mother sighs. Just please be alright, says Momo to herself, still worried for her grandson. Tanjiro paces back and forth, not being able to sit still. It was clear that something was wrong, if they couldn't find Naruto anywhere. So they were trying not to fear the worst on the situation, and were waiting patiently. So as everyone sat in silence, they started to hear commotion coming from the basement door. As everyone looked toward it on guard now. As the sound of objects being knocked over continued to come from the door, they went to see something that surprised as the door was slammed open violently. It was Naruto with Shursui over his shoulder, going in and out of consciousness. For which shocked everyone at the state the Uchiha was in, as Naruto yelled out in a hurry. Shui needs help, says Naruto with tears in his eyes, coming through the door. What happened? Asks Mikoto, getting up now while worried for the both of them. Not the time. Please get someone here to help him. Make sure it's someone from the district who will keep quiet, says Naruto, yelling out, as his aunt Hina runs to do so. Ju runs over to help Naruto with Shui, as Kazuki clears a nearby table and speaks out. Set him down on the table over here, says Kazuki, yelling for his nephew and Ju to do as told. As they lifted Shui up and laid him on the table, Momo turns to her daughter and speaks now. Get your father and Lord Third over here. Tell him it's urgent, says Momo, ordering Hiyori, as she nodded and ran off now. Once this was done, Shui opened his eye a bit to look at Tanjiro now. Tanjiro, says Shui, coming to now while seeing where he was. As Tanjiro comes over and leans down to speak. Yes, Shui, what is it? Asks Tanjiro, concerned. I need you to do something for me while Hina is getting help. And I need you to listen very carefully, says Shui, being serious, as Tanjiro nodded. With Itachi. Currently, Itachi was still standing at his spot, waiting patiently for Shui. So right now, Itachi was looking up at the moon, only to hear movement in the trees as leaves fall. Shui? Asks Itachi, speaking out now. Come with me, says Shui, revealing himself while running off now. As Itachi looked a bit worried, he went to take off his mask, now giving chase to follow his friend. Naka River. Arriving at Naka River only to stop, Shui turns his head a bit while explaining the situation. It seems we can't prevent the Uchiha coup d'etat, and if civil war erupts in the Leaf, other villages will invade for sure. True war will break out, says Shui, as continued to explain. When I tried to stop all of this with the Kodarma Tsukumi, Danzo stole my right eye, says Shui, turning around fully while shocking Itachi now. That man doesn't trust me at all. He intends to protect the village his way, no matter what it takes or how it looks. I suspect he'll come after my left eye, says Shui, reaching up to his other eye as he continued to speak. So I'll give it to you before he has a chance, says Shui, pulling out the eye. Shui thought Itachi extremely worried. You're the only one I can count on, my best friend. Protect the village and the Uchiha name. Both of them, says Shui, giving the eye to Itachi as the wind blows and a crow comes flying down to take the eye and disperse into feathers as Itachi's Sharingan is active. Alright, I accept it. What will you do now? Asks Itachi, wanting to know. If I die, many things will change. I've left a note, says Shui, with Itachi picking up on what he's going to do and his eyes widen. Shui, wait, says Itachi in urgency. Don't try to stop me, Itachi, says Shui, as he falls back and off the cliff as Itachi runs toward him. If you're truly my friend, thought Shui, and Itachi didn't make it in time. Shui, says Itachi, extremely worried, as Shui falls, and Shui says Itachi in complete shock. As his eyes are closed now, this causes blood to seep out from the closed eyelids, as he opens them to show the next stage. Mangekyo Sharingan. So as Itachi stood there looking at the area where Shui fell in, the bushes behind him started to rustle, eventually showing someone coming out into the open, as they spoke. Good, it worked, says a voice behind Itachi. This being said, only got Itachi to come out of his shock, and look to find it was Tanjiro Uzumaki. So upon hearing this, Itachi got up fully to his feet now, with Ki being released as he spoke. What worked? Asks Itachi, yelling out now, angry. Tanjiro wasn't affected by it as he spoke again. The plan that Shui had for you, Itachi, says Tanjiro calmly. What plan? Asks Itachi, still yelling while wanting an answer. As Itachi said this, Tanjiro lets out a sigh, before speaking again in order to give Itachi a better answer. Shui is alive, says Tanjiro calmly while shocking Itachi. How? But says Itachi, confused as he looked back at the river. One of his shadow clones affected by Fuinjutsu, so it could disrupt your Sharingan from telling the difference, says Tanjiro, explaining this. Why? Asks Itachi, still shocked while calming himself down. Come with me, I'll explain on the way, but first throw this into the river. You'll understand soon enough, says Tanjiro, handing Itachi Shusui's headband. Itachi went to do so, as he turned to jump off following Tanjiro. Senju Uzumaki District. Currently, Naruto was sitting down with his aunt Hiyori, who was comforting him. So after explaining everything to Hiruzen and Kamadu along with everyone present, they shocked by what he told them along with what Shursui told said as well to go along with this. So as they were waiting in silence with Shursui now in a better state than what he originally was, Kamadu heard the front door being slid open. As Itachi and Tanjiro walk in, seeing Shursui on the table with bandages around his eyes now. "Itachi," says Naruto yelling out, as he ran over to him. "Naruto, are you alright?" asks Itachi leaning down to him. "Yes, I'm fine," but Shursui says Naruto still sad because of what happened to him. Itachi saw this, and decided to speak. "It's alright. Everything's gonna be okay, I can assure that," says Itachi reassuring Naruto while patting his head. As he did this, Hiyori went over to Naruto to take him upstairs. So when the two left, Itachi heard Shursui speak. "Itachi, that you?" asked Shursui, almost as if he were asleep a few moments ago. "Yes, it's me," says Itachi walking over now. "I'm glad you're alive. But right now, do you think you can tell us what exactly happened in?" asks Itachi. "Yes, sure," says Shursui as he clears his throat. Shursui then goes into full detail on what happened. From meeting with Danzo, to the man becoming paranoid as Kamadu suspected. Retelling the entire fight as a whole up to the point of having his eyes stolen by Danzo. How Danzo already had one in his possession along with how Naruto interfered just in time, and most likely saving his life just in time by covering their escape with the explosion and bringing him here. So with the Shursui finally done speaking, Hiruzen was the first to speak out on this. "So Danzo did all of this. Damn it all," says Hiruzen angrily, as he knew this was getting even more troublesome now. "I knew he was trouble and yet no one listened to me. Except for a few," says Tanjiro angrily because they're facing a possible coup d'etat that could have been avoided. As Kamadu heard the entire story, he was highlighting certain things he heard in head. From the entire plan to force Fugaku in cooperating with the village, to how Danzo was skeptical about the entire plan straight from the beginning, he decided to speak now coming to a possible conclusion of his own. "I don't think the coup d'etat would have been stopped with just Shursui's eyes alone," says Kamadu getting their attention. "Why is that?" asks Itachi concerned at this now. "What if Fugaku could be hiding abilities of his own? Like those eyes you now possess, Itachi," says Kamadu now making the room tense. "You don't think," says Itachi trailing off while finally getting it with his eyes widening. "He lost friends during the Third Shinobi World War. So it's possible he was close to one of them," says Kamadu. "But why hide it? Even from his own clan?" asks just still not getting that part. "The Mangekyo Sharingan has always been feared by the Leaf's enemies. Lord Second Hokage, and now the elders of the village," says Kamadu as he continued speaking. "They most likely believe it's too dangerous because it can control a tailed beast. Not to mention we have the strongest of them," says Kamadu explaining this, as he went on further. "Fugaku's most likely hiding it because he knows the clan would only move up the schedule of when the coup d'etat is supposed to start," says Kamadu explaining this. "So you think he's hiding it for the proper moment?" asks Mikoto getting his point now. "Precisely," says Kamadu with a nod. "So what are we gonna do moving forward? If we don't stop the coup then," says Biwako trailing off, as Hiruzen spoke now. "Me and Kamadu have come to the conclusion to do nothing. For the time being, we'll let Danzo get away with this but at the same time find more information that will mark him as a traitor of Konoha. He'll be healing from the injuries Naruto gave him, so he won't be able to do a lot on his own in his current state," says Hiruzen. "Okay, it's understandable considering we can't prove it, but what about Shursui? And the coup?" asks Itachi stating some obvious problems now. "Officially, I'll be marked as dead from what the police force will find at the river and my home. As such, I'll probably be out of commission for a few months or more," says Shursui as he continued speaking. "Considering I'm adjusting to my ancestor, Kagami Uchiho's eyes that I had transplanted in my eye sockets before you got here. Which in itself will take a few months along with my injuries," says Shursui as he spoke again. "So officially, this is up to you now. Do what's best in your mind," says Shursui giving him his advice. "You can stay here with us. It's better that way, considering Root won't dare in trying to infiltrate the district," says Kamadu. "Right, that does seem for the best," says Shursui with a nod. "Well, for the time being, let's see what we're going to do tomorrow and moving forward," says Hiruzen as everyone nodded and took their leave except Shursui. Underground. "Damn it," says Danzo still injured and still in a lot of pain, as Root Medical Nin was seeing to Danzo's wound while he spoke again. "Status report. Now," says Danzo yelling out with anger. Sir, the arrows fired on you had no trace. No fingerprints. No clan mark. Not a thing, they're completely untraceable along with the paper bombs that were used, says the first Root Umbu reporting in. The men we retrieved from the blast zone in the immediate explosion were still alive but barely, as they are currently receiving medical care as we speak, says the second Root Umbu, as he continued. We also searched the blast area after dark when the shinobi cleared out, and found no trademarks on what was left either. Whoever did this didn't want to be found, tracked, or seen at all, says the second Root Umbu reporting these findings. Once this was said, Danzo nodded and decided to speak again. What of Shui? Asks Danzo, wondering if he can still retrieve him for the other eye. We don't know, sir. The body wasn't recovered, so we believe he got away. Most likely dead with the injuries he received along with escaping with his other eye, says the first Root Umbu. All of this planning, and now it's thrown out the window like a fart in the wind, says Danzo with much contained anger in his voice. And for some reason, I feel like it's those damn Uzumakis that are to be blamed for this. Along their annoyingly stupid red hair, says Danzo, yelling lividly now. As he said this, both his Root Umbus stood there emotionlessly as one decided to speak. What do the Uzumakis have to do with this, sir? Asks a Root Umbu, as Danzo calms himself. Nothing. Just get back to work, says Danzo as both of his subordinates nodded and disappeared in a body flicker. As both of them were gone, Danzo was left alone to think as the Root medical Nin was working on his wounds. Whoever did this to me will pay. Damn it, I haven't been hit like this for a while and it hurts a lot. Someone really wanted me dead back there and almost succeeded. I seriously need to be very careful now in my movements. Nothing will stop my plans. Nothing at all, thought Danzo, determined. The next morning, the Uchiha police force was currently restraining a man as citizens who were passing by saw it as well. Hey! What am I even being accused of? Asks the man, grunting out while being restrained. Shut up, I'll do the talking, says the Uchiha, restraining him as Fugaku walks up. Don't be so rough with him, says Fugaku. Captain, says the Uchiha, calming down as he lifts the man up. All you need to know is that you're a suspect. You're coming to HQ with us, says Fugaku to the man. Yes, says the man. Remember to follow all investigative procedures, says Fugaku to the two Uchiha police. Sir, says both of them as Fugaku looks on. Come on, move it, says the Uchiha, holding the suspect. Hokage Mansion. In a room with Itachi were 5 people sitting down, one being Danzo with bandages covering up his visual injuries, along with the other advisors and Hiruzen, as Itachi begins to speak. Shui Uchiha was a core member of the Uchiha clan. His loss demoralized them and lessened their fighting power all at once, says Itachi, reporting this. So it seems the coup d'etat has been averted then, says Koharu. I wish that there had been some other way than for Shui to give up his life to stop it. I should not have pushed him like I did, says Hiruzen. Among the Uchiha, there are still a few who believe you killed Shui, says Danzo, making this known, as Itachi looks on neutrally. But the ones who believe that did not know that Shui and I were both working towards the same goal, says Itachi as he continued speaking. He never met me at our rendezvous point, says Itachi, making this known. He kept secrets, so he was suspected. I'll make a statement from the Umbu that it was a suicide. Agreed, Hiruzen? Asks Danzo as he turns his head to Hiruzen. Says Hiruzen. We still haven't even found his body, Danzo. So how could it be a suicide and we still have not found the body? Asks Kamadu calmly. We'll find it. If he left a note, then it means his body is somewhere, says Danzo. Naka Shrine. It is currently night time at the Naka Shrine after a long day. Itachi went there to read the Uchiha stone tablet in a secret meeting hall under the shrine and becomes shocked as he reads it with his new eyes. Later, Itachi and his team are in the trees wearing Umbu masks. Itachi is giving hand signals to move in. Hidden grass shinobi from Kusagakure are placing explosive tags beneath the dirt and covering them, but are quickly hit by shuriken in ambush. As 2 Umbu of team come down in speed, killing the other 2. The last is afraid and surrounded, holding a kunai, turning to run only to find a shinobi with lighting in his hand. The lightning blade. Then you're the copy ninja of the hidden leaf AGH, says the Kusa shinobi, as he was pierced in the chest by the lighting blade. Kakashur, says the man as the now identified Kakashi pulls his hand out of the man's chest and making him fall to the ground as his team comes up. You're becoming quite well known, Captain, says Tenzo, walking up as the others do as well. Do this long enough and you're bound to become famous, says the first Umbua part of the team. Clear the area? Leave no trace that the hidden leaf was here, says Kakashi, ordering his team while walking away. Yeah, I know, says the first Umbu, now getting started. All this dirty work is just a part of the Umbu's MO, says the second Umbu, as Itachi takes off his mask. Later that night. Later the team is sitting to rest or eat while Kakashi is look at a map. You said that a friend gave you the Sharingan that you possess, says Itachi talking to Kakashi as he looked over a bit. Yes, along with a vow, says Kakashi responding. And is this vow something you plan to honor? Asks Itachi curious. Yes, I intend to, says Kakashi answering as Itachi closes his eyes. I know about the incident with Shursui Uchiha. Is everything okay? Asks Kakashi a bit worried. Yes, I'm fine, says Itachi while nodding. I see. Anyway, there's not a lot I can do, but let me know if there's anything, says Kakashi. Of course, says Itachi responding, but he started remembering the whole waterfall scene as it felt so real, and now he had to handle the coup by himself. Shursui, things have gotten much worse. I don't think we can protect everyone, thought Itachi, closing his eyes. Night fell over them as the imminent future for their clan was looking grim. 1 year later. It has been a year since the incident that happened with Shursui, and while he's still recovering from physical injuries, he was able to achieve his eternal Manjikyu Sharingan. So he was going through physical therapy right now in a very large training hall beneath the compound that's used for large training of the clan, with individual rooms as well for training. Naruto's sensory ability was growing when he found out he could sense out through his affinities. Bioelectricity for lightning, body heat for fire, body fluid for water, vibrations for earth, breathing and wind flow for wind. This helped his senses very much, considering he trained each to be powerful. He would also train with his friends and use the Sharingan in secret to better understand his flaws, but would use it very rarely, but always training with it in terms of genjutsu and speed training. While he was going through this, Naruto had grown as well in other areas. He was adequate in his non-blood-borne Kekkei Genkais along with his affinities as well. His Sharingan speed training was increasing in strides, along with the use in the bow and arrow being very deadly now. Fuinjutsu was now at level 8 of the 30 stages. His Mokuton training was officially finished with Tenzo, but Naruto took it a step further to go into the Senju archives and found all the jutsu on Mokuton, and with a couple of others he came for, and practiced them in the training hall under the compound. His bending taijutsu was becoming better thanks to his uncle Tanjiro and Aunt Hina as well. Now Naruto was currently practicing his breathing to one day use total concentration, constant, so he can master the Kenjutsu style of his clan. So right now he's breathing in and out while in the garden and sitting on a rock. Like Grandpa Kamadu said, if I can master this, then I'll achieve a higher rate of my physical abilities. Breath styles require this, and if I can master it while practicing my katas, then I'm one step ahead of others in the Kenjutsu department, thought Naruto. Even as a child, Grandpa demonstrated the forms in the snow around torches, said something that during that time the air is thin and freezing, which makes it difficult and more of a challenge, better conditions for a harder challenge, thought Naruto, remembering his grandfather practiced the katas in the middle of circle in the snow with torches creating the circle while wearing a ceremonial mask and clothing. He also remembers that the Uzumaki clan uses the breath style within a ritual ceremony practiced every new year, where the breath style user offers the fire god a dance from sunset to sunrise to ward off diseases. Ceremonies that are practiced every year that he holds dear to him. So Naruto was continuing the breathing as he was fully focused, but something took that away as he heard something. Naruto? Asked a soft voice as Naruto opened his eyes to see Hana along with her 3 Niken laying down in the garden. Oh hey Hana! What are you doing here? Asked Naruto, wondering what she was at his home for. Well, I don't have any missions today and my family's out doing their own thing, so I figured I'd come and visit you. Also Mom says hi, but it would seem no one is in the house, says Hana with a smile, making Naruto blush a bit. So what are you doing? Asked Hana, wondering what he was doing as she took a seat next to him with some dango she wanted to share with him. Well, I was doing a breathing techniques for my Kenjutsu to have an edge in it for fighting, says Naruto as he notices what she's holding. What do you got there? Asks Naruto. Dango. I was hoping we could share, says Hana with a smile. Sure, says Naruto, returning the smile, about to reach out for one as she swiped them away slowly, surprising him. But then again, I might not want to, considering I didn't hear a thank you for coming by for visiting you, says Hana being playful. As Naruto smiles at this while picking up a seed on the ground and using his Mokutan abilities to make it grow into a full-blooming red hibiscus flower. Thank you, Hana, says Naruto, tucking the flower behind her ear with her smiling with a small blush. Alright, let's enjoy them then, says Hana, giving him one. So for the next 20 minutes they talk and slowly enjoy their dango as they're down to the last one that has 2 on it. Here, Naruto, you have it, says Hana, giving it to him, but he comes up with an idea. Hana, wait, says Naruto as he takes one of the sticks he used and places the second one on his and handing her the other, as he places the one in his hand to her mouth with her being confused, and then her eyes widen. Oh, says Hana, now getting it, as she does the same with him as they both eat the ones they fed to each other, smiling all the same. Well, 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 says a voice, making them jump and fall off the boulder they were sitting on, looking over to find Jiraiya along with Tsunade dropping in for a visit. Did you have to scare us, Gramps? And stop the scribbling in your notepad, says Naruto, angry. Oh, calm down. I just wanted to see how you're doing is all, says Jiraiya with a smile. By the looks of it, someone has a girlfriend, says Tsunade in a sing-song voice. Grandma, can you just tell me why you're here? Asks Naruto, now blushing red. Well, we were wondering if you would like to have dinner with us tonight while we're in the village, says Tsunade with a smile. Sure, can Hana come? Asks Naruto, hopeful. Of course, says Tsunade with a smile and a nod, as they all prepare to leave. With Itachi. Itachi was now 13 years old and on his knee before Danzo, as it was sunset over the village with 2 root Anbu behind him. Beginning today, you will become a squad leader in the Anbu. You're not part of the Foundation per se, but your mission orders will come from me. There's no need to report anything to Hiruzen and his staff, says Danzo. Yes, sir, says Itachi. But I will. The more information the leaf has on you, the better, thought Itachi. In that case. Anyway, I know it's sudden, but I have a mission for you. It's a simple assassination, says Danzo, looking over a bingo book. The 2 behind you will assist you, says Danzo as they walk out of the shadows. We'll be your subordinates from here on, says the first root Anbu. We're honored to be of service, says the second root Anbu as his left hand twitched a bit as Itachi was looking at him with his Sharingan active. Later that night, Naruto was walking home from the dinner that went well with Hana on his back because she wanted to be carried and Naruto offered. Tsunade and Jiraiya said after dinner they would go see Lord Third. So now, Naruto is walking and is close to the clan district as he spoke out. You know you can be a big baby, right? Asks Naruto with a smirk. Yeah, but you spoil me. It's a plus for you being such a nice guy, says Hana, happy at being carried as Naruto shakes his head a bit. Alright, but you're staying at my home tonight. I got a guest room ready and all, so don't worry, says Naruto as he continues to walk. Both of them are enjoying their time together as the night continues. The next day, Itachi was now chasing his target through a grassy plain, only to kill him with 3 kunais he threw that pierced his back, making him fall to the ground as his team killed the target's subordinates with crows soaring around the area. Itachi checks the body to make sure it's the target, and it is, as the other 2 walk up to Itachi after they completed the mission assigned to them. After the mission, Itachi and his team returns to the village to report back to Danzo as it was sunset. Later. Good work. Now while you were away, my surveillance team on the Uchiha has reported that the Leaf Police Force has been strengthening their armaments. What do you think the significance of that? Asks Danzo. Resentment toward the village has been increasing among the Uchiha, says Itachi, reporting. So, this is something we can't ignore? Asks Danzo. Yes, sir, says Itachi, lifting his head. The next day. Itachi now finds himself the next day looking at screens for the surveillance on the Uchiha clan district. As he sees a very close friend of his, Izumi Uchiha, run out the entrance but stops to talk to a fellow Uchiha. Upon seeing this, Itachi looks down into the data book in his hands on her page, as he starts flipping pages to check other people's information and stats. Later that day, Itachi is walking up to his home in the Uchiha district, thinking as he walked back home as it is now sunset. He turns to the wall where he threw a kunai at the Uchiha clan symbol in the dead center of the wall from the confrontation with the police and his father on the supposed suicide of Shursui that he was apparently accused for because he did not attend the meeting. Itachi is brought out of his thoughts from a voice behind him at the entrance of his home. Welcome home, big brother, says Sasuke as Itachi turns his head. I was just about to go and train, come with me? asks Sasuke hopeful. I'm exhausted from my mission, says Itachi answering him. Come on. You never get tired, big brother, says Sasuke as Itachi comes up to poke him on the forehead, with Sasuke rubbing the spot as he walks past. Sorry, Sasuke. Some other time, says Itachi walking in his home. Man, says Sasuke looking at his retreating figure, bummed out that Itachi is tired and does not want to train while pouting. In the house. As Itachi comes into the home, he walks past the garden area in order to go to his room. As Itachi walks down the path in the house, he looks up to see his father Fugaku standing there with his arms folded. They both say nothing, as Itachi continues to walk, only for Fugaku to decide in speaking out now. You know about the clan meeting in 3 days, don't you, Itachi? Asks Fugaku as Itachi walks past, stopping just behind him. I don't, says Itachi, answering him truthfully. Once it concludes, meet me at the Nakano shrine alone. No Umbu subordinates, says Fugaku, making sure Itachi knows this. I'm leaving tomorrow on a mission outside the village, says Itachi, letting him know. Once he said this, Itachi continued to walk forward and away from Fugaku, only for his father to say a few words of warning. Don't run away, says Fugaku, making Itachi stop in his tracks. Run away? Asks Itachi, very confused now, while turning his head a bit to look over his shoulder. From what exactly? Asks Itachi, curious at this. From your destiny as an Uchiha, says Fugaku as Itachi's eyes narrow a bit at this, as Fugaku unfolds his arms. Do you understand? I'll be waiting, says Fugaku, now walking away fully. Itachi continued to look on with narrowed eyes, before walking away himself. 3 days later. It was now night time, as the Uchiha clan members were coming out of the shrine. Itachi was watching and saw Izumi talking to a fellow Uchiha as he and his team watched them leave. Itachi's head picked up more as he saw Mikoto come out with a face of disappointment and sadness, not wanting to be a part of this as she was the last to come out. You two stand by here, says Itachi, ordering his subordinates. But Captain? Says the first Rudambu. Just report what I said to Lord Danzo, says Itachi, giving no room for argument. Naka Shrine Secret Gathering Hall. The torch fires were still going as Fugaku was looking at the stone tablet. Within the clan, only those who possess the Sharingan can read this stone tablet, and even then only part of it, but with your Manjiki Sharingan, you should be able to read it even more completely, says Fugaku with his eyes closed as he senses Itachi behind him, who has his mask off. You want me to tell you what it says? Asks Itachi. That's not necessary, says Fugaku, turning his head for Itachi to see that he has a Manjiki Sharingan of his own. You have the Manjikyu as well? Asks Itachi, shocked while having a thought. So Lord Kamadu was right, thought Itachi. It happened during the Third Great Ninja War. When my friend gave up his life in order to save me, amidst tears of blood my Manjikyu was born, says Fugaku, looking at the stone tablet as Itachi thought about Kamado's hypothesis being dead on, as Fugaku began to speak again. The Uchiha's path to salvation is carved into this stone, but even with the Manjikyu Sharingan, the end cannot be deciphered. It seems we still have a ways to go. However, even if it is part of it, once you read you'll understand the current situation forced upon the Uchiha is wrong, says Fugaku. But even so, to use force to overcome that situation is completely, begins Itachi, yelling as Fugaku spoke again. The higher-ups of the village are frightened of us. That is why they persecute us. Out of fear of our Sharingan, says Fugaku. You're right. They're afraid we'll control the 9 tails with the power of the Sharingan, says Itachi. That's just a legend about Madara Uchiha. Since then no one's done anything like that. We don't even know if anyone can, but the higher-ups cling to the ghost of the past and keep us at a distance out of fear. If they're afraid of us, there's nothing else for us to do except control them, says Fugaku, making this clear now. Do you plan to use force to become the Hokage? Asks Itachi with narrowed eyes. It's only because the clan wishes it. I can't stop them, but I want to avoid the use of brute force. That's why I kept my Manjikyu Sharingan a secret, says Fugaku, giving his reasons. Why? Asks Itachi, curious at this. I can control the 9 tails with my Manjikyu Sharingan. If the clan learned of it, they'd want even more, says Fugaku as he turns his head to Itachi. Watch, says Fugaku, putting Itachi in a genjutsu to look at the scenario. Fugaku's genjutsu scenario. 3 Uchiha run up to the door, opening it and throwing Naruto in tied up. We've brought the Jinchuriki, let's do it, says the first Uchiha. The captain can do it. Please, Captain, you have to, says the second Uchiha, yelling out. Captain Fugaku, please, says the first Uchiha, as Fugaku still had his eyes closed. Use the power of the Uchiha, says the third Uchiha, as Fugaku opens his eyes, now causing something to happen as the shrine explodes. The Nine Tails roars and then charges a tailed beast bomb, only to launch it across the village. As it causes destruction everywhere, only to begin roaring out once more with Fugaku at the top of the torii post to the Naka shrine. Look on at the Nine Tails with his Menjiki Sharingan very much active. End scenario. Itachi drops to his knee while dropping his mask. Sweating from seeing the scenario with wide eyes, trying to get himself together but tries to speak. That, says Itachi, trying to get his bearings. Many in the clan resent the village. When someone's pushed into a corner, they resort to such things. There will be much bloodshed on both sides, but Itachi, if you are with me, right at Mike can take them by surprise and restrain the higher-ups. Some fighting will ensue, that's unavoidable, but with your help as a member of the Umbu, says Fugaku, fully turning around to speak again. We could orchestrate a bloodless revolution, says Fugaku, voicing his thoughts. A bloodless revolution? Asks Itachi, repeating the words with a shocked look on his face. Itachi, you're my son. Please, help me to save our clan, says Fugaku in a desperate tone of voice. Outside the shrine, Itachi appears in a body flicker near his subordinates, surprising them as he looks dead in the eyes a bit. Captain? Asks the first Rudumbu. Your orders? Asks the second Rudumbu. Hokage Mansion. Itachi is in front of Hiruzen and his 4 advisors, now on his knee in a dark-lit room. The Uchiha clan is set on turning against the Leaf, says Itachi, reporting in. We cannot condone this any longer. If they're going to start a revolution, then use it to try to usurp our power, then we have no choice but to judge the Uchiha as traitors to the Hidden Leaf, says Koharu on the matter. Please wait, Koharu, don't rush to conclusion, says Hiruzen. However, Hiruzen, the Uchiha clan will not be dissuaded, and since that is in fact the case, we must take measures to avoid any mayhem. That includes innocent children too, says Danzo. What? Asks Kamadu, shocked but mostly angry at this man's boldness to say that. Don't say such things in front of Itachi. Besides which, a battle against the Uchiha will be far from an easy task. We must plan our strategy very carefully, says Hiruzen, a bit shocked now. We're in a race against time here. We ought to strike them preemptively before they can make their first move. If we join forces and use our respective black ops to launch a surprise attack from behind, we'll end this fast, says Danzo. Then I will resign my spot and as an advisor in this village, says Kamadu, now standing up while shocking them all. What? Asks Hiruzen, shocked. I will resign, Hiruzen, and take my clan with me back to the Fire Capital. I will take no part in genocide to an entire clan or be a part of the order given for it, says Kamadu in full seriousness. You're not with us then? Asks Danzo, curious now. Of course I'm not with you. You and these 2 advisors don't hold power over the decision that the Hokage has for his shinobi. Along with that being said, instead of confronting the Uchiha over why they're planning a coup d'etat when the problems are right in front of you as bright as day, you'd rather skip the negotiations, resorting to committing genocide against them as the solution to the situation, says Kamadu with anger in his voice as he continued. And to completely justify your actions just to sleep at night, you believe the Uchiha clan were all just a bunch of raving lunatics that were genetically predisposed to becoming insane and needed to be wiped out. This village will be known as the village of clan killers to the whole world because you chose to go along with not even trying to solve the problems, and just half-assed it to a solution that was better suited, says Kamadu, yelling out with much anger in his voice. Kamadu, wait, begins Hiruzen, but was cut off by Kamadu. No, you listen, Hiruzen, I'm surprised that you let this bastard stay on your team of advisors and be an elder of the village, when his way of doing things is by eliminating threats not only to the village, but those that don't like his way of doing things. Considering this bastard has so many secrets, says Kamadu with a glare as he looked to Danzo. Konoha was not founded on this, to wipe out clans and playing the role of kami. And the only reason you're spouting this nonsense is because of Lord Second's narrow-minded thinking when it came to the Uchiha. He was a great man but a great fool and a failure when it came to the Uchiha, says Kamadu as he continued for a final time. This is exactly the same thing that almost happened to my clan during the war. And if you start doing things like that, then I will no longer be a part of this village as a whole, says Kamadu with no room for argument on the matter. So be it then. This needs to happen and soon, says Danzo. Upon hearing all of this, Hiruzen decided to speak now. The Uchiha are comrades in arms. I would like to use words first before employing any violence, so I will come up with a strategy. Says Hiruzen on the matter, making it final. As Kamadu looks over to Itachi, who looks back, as they exchange a silent signal to meet later. Later. Itachi was with Danzo outside a temple in the Leaf as thunder and lightning was going on during the night. Despite what Lord Third said, he'll do whatever it takes to protect the hidden leaf. You must choose. Align with the Uchiha and launch the coup d'etat and be slaughtered along with your family, or side with the leaf and before they attempt the coup d'etat. Eliminate every Uchiha except your younger brother. Says Danzo as Itachi becomes extremely shocked to his core upon hearing this. Eliminate the Uchiha? Asks Itachi with wide eyes shocked. To protect the leaf, every possible step must be taken to avoid mayhem. The only one who can handle this mission is you. A double agent for both the Uchiha and the leaf. There's no one else, Itachi, so will you accept this mission or not? Asks Danzo wanting an answer. Itachi looks on quiet as the lightning strikes wildly with loud thunder. Senju Uzumaki District. As the thunderstorm continued over the village, Kamadu and Itachi were speaking now in his personal office. As Itachi finished telling Kamadu what he was ordered to do behind Hiruzen's back. So Danzo gave you such an order, did he? Asks Kamadu with Itachi nodding. That bastard always trying to undermine Hiruzen when he can solve this peacefully. Asks Kamadu. Honestly, it's my mother, Sasuke, and the rest of the clan that aren't even a part of this that worries me above all. Says Itachi looking very conflicted. I just wish there was an odder way. I failed not only sure sway, but I failed to stop this from happening in the first place. Says Itachi looking down at the floor. As Itachi said this, Kamadu could see the look of suffering on his face now, as he remembers a time where he had that same look. The moment Kamadu remembered from his past was when he thought his clan was going to be eradicated too. The feeling of hopeless at the time, when he thought their entire way of life was going to be destroyed with their extinction. The hopeful speeches he gave out before going into battle, knowing it could have been their last day. All of those feelings bubble up in one moment, as Kamadu went to give Itachi the only advice he thinks is right. Then send all of those that aren't a part of the coup d'etat to my district the day when you are to strike. Says Kamadu, shocking Itachi. What? Asks Itachi shocked. The day you're going to do this is a school day, so tell Mikoto to bring those of the Uchiha clan not involved. I'll say that this is a move for an alliance between the Uchiha and Uzumaki clan, considering we're still on shaky terms and have not gotten things done formally. Says Kamadu, explaining his plan. What about those involved? Asks Itachi, still wondering about that part. Kill them. I know for a fact that we can save most of the clan instead of destroying it. Says Kamadu as he continued speaking. Plus, no one can teleport in here due to the seals, and if they try it'll only alert us to their presence. As we'll be at the ready on that night. Says Kamadu as he finished speaking. Danzo won't like this. Says Itachi, pointing this out. Is he your Hokage? Asks Kamadu with a raised eyebrow. No, says Itachi, answering the question. Then you don't need to listen to me and neither him. Think for yourself in a mission, instead of following orders to the letter. The leaf is using your loyalty to them at every chance they get. All I'm saying, Itachi, is don't follow orders directly to the letter because one day it could cause you much pain and suffering. Says Kamadu as he continues to speak. You also have a tendency of doing things alone. So I suggest you try to let others lighten the load of responsibility for you. Says Kamadu, giving this last bit of advice. I'll keep that in mind, but let me think about this. Says Itachi, now nodding. Take as much time as you need. Says Kamadu with a nod of his own. The next day. Itachi was on the roof thinking about the choices laid before him and what to do. Eradicate his entire clan to only his brother, or possibly take the opportunity to kill only those involved and partially saving the clan from extinction, but above all the safety of the village and avoiding war as a whole, as he was still very conflicted. The village. The clan. Shinobi. Is fighting inevitable? Thought Itachi, remembering everything in his life up to this point as he stood up. The village or the clan? What should I do? Thought Itachi, looking out over the village. With Naruto. Naruto was currently running, not giving it his all, as Sasuke came in first and Naruto in second. Naruto was right now taking a breath in as he noticed something. You didn't take that seriously, did you? Asked Naruto, wondering about that. Yeah, of course I did, you loser. Says Sasuke with Sakura and Ino watching. Considering I wasn't even racing you and I was pacing myself? But if you want a challenge, the high jump is a good place to start. Says Naruto, annoyed. You're no match for me. Says Sasuke as Itachi watches from a nearby roof. Says the person Who seeks to challenge the best? Asks Naruto, confused with his classmate's behavior. Itachi looks on with a smile at the two, but then his face quickly turns to one of someone who has made a decision. Later, a man is seen walking through a wooded area with a lot of hair along with a mask. "Hey," says the voice of Itachi, stopping the man as he turns a bit while Itachi jumps down from a tree. "There is something I would like you to help me with," says Itachi as he speaks, now wanting to speak with this man as he now had no choice. "That would be?" asks the masked man, as Itachi goes into detail on his situation. Giving as much but not too much and not too little in many regards, as he finishes up his main reasons only to speak again. "I know you hate the Uchiha as a whole for abandoning you many years ago," says Itachi, making the man perk up as he continued. "I will allow you to assist me in wiping them out before they move forward with their plans, and on the other hand so that you can finally take vengeance against them for their abandonment of you decades earlier," says Itachi as he spoke once more to voice his terms. "As long as you spare the village and my little brother by leaving them alone entirely," says Itachi, voicing this. "And in return?" asks the masked man with folded arms. "Whatever you wish," says Itachi, about to walk away now. "We move tonight," says Itachi, turning his back on the man. "Fine, I shall assist you as promised," says the masked man, nodding. "Very well then, I'm counting on you," says Itachi, making this known. "I'll help you annihilate the Uchiha because I have another goal, and for that I want you to keep your eyes closed," says the masked man, making this clear. "So I'm not to use my Sharingan against whatever you're planning?" asks Itachi, knowing what he meant by the way he worded it. "Yes, and I guarantee that I won't kill your little brother. I have no use for a child without the Sharingan," says the masked man. "You think that is supposed to reassure me? Although at this point I have no other choice but to trust you," says Itachi, but the man in the mask knows a way for sufficient payment that will help him. "If you need refuge, join my organization," says the masked man, looking to recruit Itachi, as he looked back at him. "Your organization?" asks Itachi, curious now. "The Akatsuki," says the masked man, telling him the name of the group. Much later. The full moon is high in the sky as all is quiet. Itachi walks up to the entrance of the Uchiha district, and stopping before the entrance to prepare himself. Once down, he puts his mask on and disappears in a body flicker. Somewhere in the district a clear portal opens with a masked man coming out, and then moving in fast bursts of speed enters the Uchiha police force headquarters with the lights going dark. "Who are you?" asks an Uchiha in there, not knowing what's about to happen. While that is happening, Itachi has killed a man along with those there with him. Friends on the police force. So after that, Itachi starts making his way through the district, cutting them down. As he throws kunai at fleeing people, killing them. So once that is done, he makes his way into a building and kills the woman in there along with 5 other members. For the next 45 minutes Itachi continues his slaughter of the Uchiha, and all the while getting blood on his face. Itachi runs and finds Fugaku standing before him with arms folded. "Itachi, what lies behind this slaughter? Will you show me a new future for the clan? One that's different than the one I showed you?" asks Fugaku. "This is," says Itachi, using his Sharingan to show him. Over at the police force headquarters, the man in the mask finally finishes slaughtering those in the station as he comes out to continue and then wait for Itachi. Now back with Itachi. He and his father are standing across from each other, as Itachi seems to be done showing Fugaku what he did. "This is what I see for the clan's future and for the villages," says Itachi. "Yes, I see," says Fugaku. "Sasuke, thought Fugaku, going up in smoke and surprising Itachi. "A shadow clone," says Itachi. Later. Itachi is now at the top of a tower in the district, wiping blood from his face. "Father is the worst possible enemy for me. This will be a battle of Manjiki Sharingan," thought Itachi, assessing his standpoint as he got off all the blood. As he then disappeared in a body flicker now. Uchiha clan main house. Itachi appeared in the garden area of the house near the koi fish pond. As he jumped up on the walkway, quiet as he looked into the room his father was always in. "Over here," says Fugaku as Itachi looks over to where the voice comes from. "There are no traps. Come in," says Fugaku as Itachi slowly opens the door to find the people he is looking for. "Father," says Itachi, walking in with sword drawn. Somewhere in the Uchiha district. All was officially quiet as the wind blows through the district. On top of a tower, the masked man looks out across the district with his arm at his side as Itachi appears in a body flicker with the man turning to him. It's over. Yor starts the man but sees the Umbu mask over Itachi's face. Never mind, let's go, says the man. Go on ahead. I'm going to confirm things with the Leafs higher-ups, says Itachi as the man disappears through a portal. Itachi takes off his mask and falls down overcome with what he has done. Unknown location. First, you have my thanks, your actions averted civil war within the Leaf. We've maintained peace despite all odds, says Hiruzen, making this known. Yes, says Itachi, still on one knee, being neutral on the matter. But even so, I sincerely regret that there was no other way to achieve it, says Hiruzen, as he turns his head. I apologize, Lord Third, says Itachi while bowing his head. I'm the one who should apologize. You will be branded as a rogue ninja, who killed his whole clan and be listed in the bingo book as a fugitive. Wanted dead or alive, says Hiruzen, informing Itachi of this now. Of course, says Itachi, understanding it all, as Hiruzen turns his head to speak now. What will you do now? Asks Hiruzen, curious. I found aid from a group named Akatsuki. I intend to stay close to them in order to make sure a promise is not broken, says Itachi, informing Hiruzen of this. You're going to join the Akatsuki? Asks Hiruzen, a bit surprised now. Lord Third, will you make a promise to me that you will continue to protect Sasuke? Asks Itachi, still keeping a very neutral voice. Your younger brother will study at the academy, and will grow up to become a hidden leaf shinobi. I'll ensure that he wants for nothing, but I doubt I can erase the hatred that he is bound to harbor for you, once he learns what you have done, says Hiruzen, making this clear. I know. I am prepared to bear his hatred, says Itachi, nodding. Now then. Go, I'll leave the jutsu formula for the barrier unchanged, so if you ever worry about Sasuke, you can sneak back in to check on him, says Hiruzen as Itachi bows one last time before speaking. Lord Third Eye, it is very unfortunate what has happened and that the Uchiha clan did not understand your compassion, says Itachi. That wasn't it. I was simply too weak. That is what precipitated this tragedy, says Hiruzen, feeling ashamed right now. Well, what's done is done, says Itachi as he went to body flicker away. Upon leaving Hiruzen by himself, the man let out a long sigh before turning to walk away. I should work my way over to the Uchiha district. What a damn mess, says Hiruzen, as it was clear that he did not like the outcome of everything that has happened so far. Anbu headquarters. All Anbu stood ready to go, as both Hiruzen and Danzo were standing at the front. We're moving out, says Hiruzen, yelling out now. Those on my team to the Leaf Police Force headquarters, says Danzo, giving his orders. My team to the Uchiha district, says Hiruzen, as they move out to get things done. Uchiha district. At the Uchiha district, the entire place is a mess with bodies littered everywhere, and Anbu checking the bodies as it is morning now. Many wondering who could have done all of this in a single night. This is horrible, says one Anbu, looking at the bodies, very shocked at what he see. What happened? Asks another Anbu, equally shocked. As this was said, Hiruzen walks up now while fully understanding the gravity of the situation before him. As Anbu nearby are observing the bodies, only for their Hokage to speak out with more orders. Rescue anyone who still remains alive, says Hiruzen, giving out the order, as the two Anbu nod and jump off. Lord Third, there's a survivor, says a female Anbu, who wears a cat mask. As she gained the attention of Hiruzen, he looked over and spoke now. Get him to the medical unit, says Hiruzen, looking to see that it was Sasuke. As Hiruzen said this, Kakashi was checking out another body nearby as he stood up, only to look at Hiruzen and speak now. No one else made it, says Kakashi while still a bit shocked himself. Hiruzen subtly looked at Kakashi, as he went to give out more orders now. Take away all of the corpses. I mean every single one. Search the buildings too, says Hiruzen. Once this was said, Tenzo turned to Kakashi and spoke. Who do you think could have done something as monstrous as this? Asked Tenzo, wanting an answer. As Kakashi couldn't give one, so he didn't respond, though someone else did, as they walked up. Itachi Uchiha, says Danzo, walking up now while shocking those present. Itachi? Asks Tenzo, shocked. Itachi Uchiha harbored a secret about his clan. He despised it. That is why he killed Shursui and took his eyes for his own, and also why he caused infighting amongst his brethren, and in the end he committed this atrocity, says Danzo, now opening his eye. Once Danzo said this, Kakashi and Tenzo couldn't believe that their teammate was responsible for an act such as this. So now, Kakashi decided to speak upon hearing this. But why would he? Asked Kakashi, making it sound more to himself. As everyone stood there, not knowing what to make of this whole situation. Only to hear another voice speak out now. Not entirely. Says Kamadu, now walking up to the group, getting their attention to see something that surprised everyone. Kamadu did not come alone, as many members of the Uchiha clan stood behind him. As they now went to go off running through the rest of the district in order to find their other members. So as this occurred, Danzo spoke out with much shock in his voice. What? How is this possible? Asked Danzo, very shocked along with everyone else there that the Uchiha clan still breathed and did not face extinction. I asked Mikoto to come over to my clan district last night with as many members of her clan as she could possibly get in order to officially celebrate both our two clans becoming allies. As we are also protectors of the leaf. Says Kamadu, as he continued speaking. I also sent out invites to all the other clans in the village, who were available to come, as many did. But imagine to my surprise and shock this morning, when I heard what happened with Itachi. Says Kamadu, now looking out at the bodies. Knowing that my actions unknowingly saved them, considering we didn't even know what was going on after a heavy night of drinks. Says Kamadu, making this known as he looked to both Hiruzen and Danzo. Hiruzen for his part let out a sigh of relief, as he was in thought about the situation. So Kamadu did get to Itachi. Thank goodness, thought Hiruzen, now relieved that the clan wasn't extinct, as Kamadu spoke again. You would also be happy to know that Shursui is alive. Says Kamadu, making this known while shocking Danzo even more now. When we found him a year ago, his eyes were gone and he was suffering from memory loss along with many injuries that he surely would have died from. Considering he's still suffering from memory loss of the attacker and can't remember a thing. Overall, he should be back for duty in a few months. Says Kamadu, letting everyone know this but adding a few lies into the mix, as they were relieved. This isn't good. Shursui is alive along with the rest of what's left of his clan, thought Danzo, hearing this now, as he clenched his cane a bit more. Once this was said by Kamadu, Hiruzen decided to speak now. That's enough chatter. Now get to work. Says Hiruzen, making everyone nod and go off now. As Kamadu and Danzo were the only people that stayed a little while longer. It would appear that this settles everything in a sense. Though I wonder how some of the clan still lives? Asked Danzo, walking up to them now, as Kamadu was the first to speak. Cut the shit, Danzo. You purposely went behind Lord Third's back when he said that he was going to negotiate with the Uchiha. Then you ordered Itachi to slaughter his entire clan, except for his younger brother, Sasuke. Says Kamadu, shocking Danzo as he continued. With these foolish actions you ordered being said, Itachi came to me with his great concerns about it. And thank Kami that he did, because I gave him a better solution on the order you gave him. Says Kamadu as he continued for a final time. Why do you think I asked for Mikoto to go along with sending every single member in her clan, who wasn't involved with the coup, over to my clan district? Because I wanted to save them from your foolish order. Says Kamadu, finishing up with a glare, as Hiruzen spoke. Do you not see the considerably huge problem we are left with? Asked Hiruzen, angry now. I consider it minor, as the Uchiha clan still lives. Says Danzo, not all that concerned. Upon hearing this, Hiruzen gritted his teeth a bit, only to calm down and speak once more. Much calmer, in fact. Hear me, Danzo. I can't allow you to act on your own authority anymore. Says Hiruzen as he turned his head to look forward, not even bothering to look at him. You are now relieved of your duties, as second in command. Kamadu, the position falls to you and your clan now. I expect great things from you. Says Hiruzen in a tone of command now, as Kamadu was surprised but kept his calm exterior. Yes, Lord Hokage. Says Kamadu with a bow of his head, as Danzo spoke again. Listen, Hiruzen, I did this for begins Danzo as Hiruzen cuts him off. What? For the good of the leaf? The Uchiha clan was a part, and still is a part of the leaf. Says Hiruzen, pointing this out, as Danzo had nothing to say. Your Anbuin Foundation will be dissolved and will be replaced with the Uzumaki clan per my orders and request. Says Hiruzen, now looking to Kamadu. You have them. They are yours to command along with guarding the Uchiha district per Mikoto's request. Says Kamadu. Granted, and later I'll deal with you personally, Danzo. Until then you're under house arrest. Says Hiruzen, making this known, as he spoke once more. It's time for a change amongst the village. Along with the Uchiha clan getting their position back in the governing body of the village, along with everything else they should have as a member of the Leaf. Says Hiruzen, being final on the matter. Once Hiruzen said this, it was clear that things were going to change entirely. As he and Kamadu began to walk away from Danzo, not even bothering to acknowledge his presence now after everything that was said. So now, Kamadu decided to turn his head and speak now. You'll also be happy to know that with the new seals, the man you reported being spotted by the Umbu won't get back in. Due to the new seals we placed around the village and its walls. Says Kamadu, reporting this information to Hiruzen now. Good. Thank you, my old friend. Says Hiruzen, grateful. Anytime, Hiruzen, anytime. Says Kamadu, happy to serve. With Danzo. Currently, Danzo was walking away as two of his men walked up following him. Lord Danzo, the body count doesn't match up along with Fugaka's eyes being gone. As if they were taken. Says the Root Umbu, whispering as Danzo stops. What's that? Asks Danzo, whispering. It's like they just disappeared along with the eyes. Says the Root Umbu, whispering. As the words left the Root agent's mouth, Danzo opened his eye and turned to the other Root Umbu, who said this. Only to see that he had Sharingan eyes. Proving this to be Itachi. I witnessed everything, and I will continue to watch. If you so much as touch Sasuke or my clan, I'll pass on classified village intel to every enemy nation. Says Itachi, dispersed into crows. Call! 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 Says the crows as Danzo looks on. Itachi, says Danzo. This has gone from worse to unrecoverable. Now I have to draw up an entirely new strategy, thought Danzo. The Umbu, along with the survivors of the Uchiha clan and Uzumaki clan members, were helping line the body bags up in rows. If this is the scope of Itachi's hatred, then it ran deep. Says Tenzo. Many of the clan survived. At best they've been cut down by half, as they still can compete with the Hyuga. Says the female Umbu with a cat mask. Start removing them. Says Kakashi, giving out the order. Yes, sir. Says the Umbu behind him. What a mission. Even for the Umbu. Says another Umbu member. As the day began with tragedy but also relief, as a clan was saved from the brave few. The next day, Naruto was walking through the yard of the academy and noticed Sasuke was bummed out and seriously sad and most of all angry. Must be about Itachi killing half of their clan, but why would Itachi do that, thought Naruto as he walked off a bit. In the academy. In a room near the schoolyard in the academy, Hiruzen and Biwako's son Asuma Sarutobi, along with Might Guy, who was the son of Might Dewey, the man who defeated 4 of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, were both sitting down at a table. Both men were now looking at a man in the bingo book, as it turned out to be Itachi Uchiha, with it saying dead or alive, along with this Orochimaru's bingo book entry that said on dead only. Konoha didn't want him alive as they saw no point in his capture, so they put a kill order on him for those going after him. Half the clan was wiped out. Says Asuma, putting his bingo book down. Yes, but not quite all of it, considering they're still alive. Says Guy. What's the difference? Most of its best members were lost, the police force cut down. It's a catastrophe. They may not be extinct, but they're gonna need to work hard to get back on their feet. Says Asuma. Umbu headquarters. Kakashi and Tenzo were looking at the entries themselves in the locker room where Itachi and the team would get ready. I'd never imagined that Itachi Uchiha would be put in the bingo book. S class right from the start. Well, he did slaughter half of his clan. Says Tenzo as he looks up. Hey, what's the matter, Captain? Asks Tenzo as Kakashi kept looking at the entry. It just goes to show in the end I really knew nothing about him. I understood nothing. Says Kakashi. What will happen to the Uchiha clan now? This is a major blow for them. Will they tear down the district? Says Tenzo. Tear down? Asks Kakashi. A terrible incident took place there. No one will want to go near it after everything that's happened except the Uchiha, considering it is their home. Says Tenzo. Later with Kakashi. Kakashi walks over the lines into the Uchiha district to stop outside an old teammate's house. Obito. What have I been doing? Since that day, thought Kakashi, walking away now. I swear, I'll shape up now and do what is necessary, thought Kakashi. Senju Uzumaki district. At the main house, all the siblings along with their mother read the bingo book. To think that Itachi would do this, says Hiyori, shocked with a very sad look. Yes, and he was such a sweet boy, says Momo with a sad expression as well. It was bound to happen, eventually, says Tanjiro with a sigh. But at this cost? Really? Asks Makino in a surprised tone of voice to her brother Tanjiro. Yes, but still, it's a shock because he was their strength, and now he's marked as a worldwide criminal, says Ji, reading it. With this being said, Kazuki was next to speak on a different topic. Father also wants us to increase Naruto's individual training, says Kazuki, making this known. Yes, he told me that as well. So that will start next week, says Hina, with everyone nodding. With Shursui. Shursui was reading the Bing book as well, as he now looked out the window. One day, Itachi, our paths will cross. Just stay safe out there, my friend, thought Shursui as he continued to look at the stone faces. With Hiruzen. Hiruzen was currently sitting with Kamadu, Hamura, and Koharu. I'm thinking of undertaking a complete overhaul of Danzo's foundation and also turning my attention to more of my Umbu along with new recruits that will be added into the addition soon, says Hiruzen, referring to Kamado's clansmen. In addition to that, we're going to need a new Leaf Police Force chief, says Koharu. Instead of sticking to one clan, but overall will remain with the Uchiha at the head of it along with some other changes down the line in the future. Let's start an open recruitment for the police force. The chief will be decided later. We must think of the Leaf's future and find the right person for the right job, says Hiruzen. Hokage Mansion rooftop. It is now later in the day at high noon, as Hiruzen was currently looking at the stone faces while someone walked up now. Only for it to be Kakashi, who got on one knee. You wanted to see me, sir? Asked Kakashi. Tell me this, Kakashi, how many years have you been in the Umbu so far? Asked Hiruzen. I joined during the 4th Hokage's tenure, so about 10 years, says Kakashi, answering. Originally, Minato's purpose in having you join the Umbu was to help you deal with the darkness inside your heart. He also wanted to keep you close to him, says Hiruzen. I kinda figured that, says Kakashi. Then when Minato died, I resumed the position of Hokage and I took Minato's Umbu under my command. However, I do not believe that keeping you by my side is going to be of any help to you. In fact, it will only darken your heart. Please remove your mask, says Hiruzen, walking over as Kakashi removed it. 10 years, you say? Yes, perhaps I have asked too much of you, says Hiruzen, throwing the mask away. You are hereby relieved of your Umbu duties and will assume a new position, says Hiruzen. Yes, sir, says Kakashi. You'll become a Jonin leader, says Hiruzen, shocking Kakashi. What? Asks Kakashi, still shocked. As the future of the Hidden Leaf looked proud and good, and a legend would soon rise. 5 years later. It has been 5 years since the Uchiha clan massacre of most of their promising members, and over time they have recovered from it. The village has been peaceful overall, but currently it was morning time as people were doing their daily duties or were currently at the academy or not. Ha 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 ha, says the voice of a 13-year-old redhead, laughing and identified to be Naruto, who is currently running with a bucket of paint and being chased by 2 teachers. Naruto's appearance hasn't changed much, but did in some places. He let his hair grow out, making him look a lot like his father for the frontal part, but for the back he kept it in a spiky ponytail like Madara's. It fell down to mid-level of his back. His face did change to look his age, but a bit mature, as his Azura's rage mark now was fully awakened, as it could be seen more fully. He still wore his Uzumaki spiral Hanafuda earrings with Fuinjutsu inscribed into it. And, for the mark, look at the One Piece story image. As the years, Naruto was quite adequate in his abilities now. For his Kekkei Genkai, he either was good or was adequate enough, as it was still a working process. He was now able to use the Azura's Rage mark without problem for physical boosting, and Fuinjutsu was at level 14 of 30 stage, but when he turned 9 years old, Kamadu decided it was time to teach him how to use the Adamantine sealing and Adamantine attacking chains along with Whirlpool release, as it was inborn Kekkei Genkai in the clan and was used for both defense and attack. His Mokuton was now battle ready along with his Sharingan still at full alert, while also being able to see 8 kilometers away with the Byakugan properties, which now had no blind spot but kept under a strong genjutsu that only he can break when it's time. As for non-blood-born Kekkei Genkai, he was able to adequately use attacks for them. His sensory ability was fully matured, as was all of the Bukijutsu categories he took up were fully mastered. Taijutsu was matured but still working to master along bending arts. Kenjutsu was at its best, considering he mastered total concentration, constant. The breathing styles he took up were at an adequate level, as he could now chop a boulder in half, but still was a working process, as he wanted to master the basic further before moving on to the advanced set. Overall, his skills at best were mid-genin level and bordering further if he could just get in the field experience and work to refine them from facing enemies. He grew well not only physically but mentally, as he learned from his family. Naruto wanted to become a shinobi in body, mind, and spirit to achieve Hashirama's dream and become the Hokage. So currently Naruto was running and enjoying the workout he got from this, as he would make the teachers go on a wild goose chase around the village for his own purpose, while he had a clone henge as a bug to watch the lessons he missed. "Naruto! Come back here! When I get my hands on you!" says the first Chunin teacher, yelling while chasing him. "You've crossed the line this time, Naruto," says the second, yelling and chasing him. Naruto wore an eye-destroying orange jumpsuit as part of his daily stealth training that he really wanted to burn, but after school hours would change out it. So as his grandfather Kamadu told him, his special made shinobi outfit along with gear wouldn't be ready until he got his Hitai 8. So Kamadu told him to wear it, which took an hour to get him to, considering he didn't want to. So now Naruto jumps, taking to the rooftops as the Chunins follow chasing him. What he did was paint graffiti on the Hokage monument. "Just give it up. You're just mad because you don't have the balls to do what I do," says Naruto, continuing to run. With Hiruzen. Hiruzen was sitting with Biwako, Kamadu, Momo, Tsum, Mikoto, and Tanjiro as they were talking about the graduation predictions and students who would. As the years passed, Hiruzen was able to keep flakes of his black hair but mostly grayed out. Although Biwako was different, as she kept her vibrant hair that was still in a ponytail, but a bit of the age could be seen in her face. As Kamadu, for his part, along with the others, hadn't changed much. So as they were talking, two people ran in both Chunin rank. "Lord Hokage! It's an emergency," says the Chunin. "I hope you're not bothering me with some trivia and don't tell me it's Naruto again," says Hiruzen, most likely seeing it is. "It is Naruto," says the first Chunin. "What did he do now?" asks Kamadu, sipping his tea. "He climbed on to the great stone faces," says the second Chunin. "Okay?" asks Kamadu, not seeing the point as he sipped. "He put graffiti all over the Hokages," says the first Chunin, making Kamadu choke and spit some of his tea out now. "What?" asks Kamadu as he stood up and ran over to the window to see it, and was shocked. "That brat. I'm gonna kick his ass for this," says Kamadu, with the shock going away while turning to anger. Hiruzen blew out smoke as he sighed a bit, as Tanjiro laughed. "Ha! I knew that prank was going to be his best, considering me and Kushina never got the chance to do it ourselves," says Tanjiro, laughing, but quickly stops upon feeling a cold chill down his spine while sweating as he turned to see his father towering over with a dark look. "You're both going to talk with me later," says Kamadu darkly while cracking his knuckles. "Just so you may know," says Tanjiro, trailing off as he continued to speak. "I regret nothing," says Tanjiro, not at all regretful but still scared of his father. With Naruto. Naruto was currently still being chased ass and ducked down an alley as the Chunin passed chasing. Naruto himself used a blanket that was styled to blend in with the fence, which he put down and looked to where the Chunin were running to. "Too easy," says Naruto with a grin as he sensed his favorite teacher standing behind him, who had got better at chasing him. "Oh yeah, Naruto?" says Iruka, yelling. "Oh hey Iruka-sensei, it looks like our record stands at 250 now," says Naruto, tallying how many times Iruka caught him and didn't. "So what are you doing here?" asks Naruto with a smile. "No. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in class," says Iruka. Later at the academy. Naruto was currently in his seat next to Shikamaru and Choji in class. Naruto's relationships had grown with his friends. Shikamaru and Choji became like brothers to him as the years went on, with Ino being like the sister he never had. Same with Hinata, who he trained with and helped her overcome most of her nervous and shy attitude and helped her in her family's taijutsu, considering one was a family member, so he knew the style. Shino was a good friend of Naruto, considering both had an interest in nature and on bugs, as Naruto wouldn't harm them out of respect for his clan and would help Shino find new ones. As for his relationship with Kiba, it was the same, considering Naruto was now very close to his older sister, but the two always challenged each other when they got the chance. His relationship with Sasuke and Sakura was the same but a bit worse, as Sasuke's personality over the years become dark and distant due to delving into his training solely from seeing his older brother cut down and murder half his clan, along with seeing his father's dead body along with the elders of his clan. While Sakura was the same, considering she never liked him and would always fawn over Sasuke, but Naruto was always respectful when he could be, as he didn't want his temper to get the best of him. So for his group of friends, they trained daily when they were available. So now, Iruka stood next to Ken Uzumaki and Mizuki, both friends of Iruka, with the second being an old friend of Iruka and the second assistant. "I'm at the end of my rope, Naruto. You've stood at the top of your class since coming here, and the graduation test is tomorrow. You're goofing off instead of studying, so you need to shape up," says Iruka with Naruto just sighing but grins a bit as Iruka gets an angry face with a tick mark. Fine. Because you missed it, Naruto, everyone will review the transformation jutsu, says Iruka, making them all complain. First up, Sakura, says Iruka. Alright. Transform, says Sakura, doing the hand signs for the henge and transforming into a perfect replica of Iruka. Transformed into me? Good, says Iruka, marking it down as she dropped the transformation. Yes. I did it, says Sakura, excited. I kicked butt, says inner Sakura in her mind as she turned to face Sasuke. Sasuke, did you see that? Asks Sakura, excited. Next, Sasuke Uchiha, says Iruka as Sasuke walks up with Iruka still marking it down as he heard the transformation and looked up to see a perfect replica of himself. Ah, good. Next, Naruto Uzumaki, says Iruka as he drops it and walks off with Naruto walking up. This is a total waste of time, Naruto, says Shikamaru, a bit irritated. We always pay for your screw-ups, says Ino, shaking her head as he walked up. Like I care, plus the true adventure begins tomorrow, says Naruto as Hinata saw him. Well, I know he's got it down, but the question is who will he turn into, thought Hinata, curious. Transform, says Naruto as he transformed into the fourth Hokage. Good, Naruto. Very good, says Iruka, marking it down, but couldn't help but notice the resemblance in the face between them a bit. Oh, I'm not done, says Naruto as he transformed again into a girl version of himself into a beautiful woman, with special attention given to the woman's figure and waist covered by steam. He says Naruto transformed, blowing a kiss, making Iruka look gobsmacked as blood flies from his nose and does some of the other students as Naruto laughs. Haha. Got ya again. Oh man, that never gets old. That's my sexy jutsu, says Naruto with a smile. Cut the stupid tricks. This is your last warning, says Iruka, yelling as his head got large. Later in the day, Naruto was cleaning the monument by himself with Iruka watching. Not gonna lie, this would go faster with clones, says Naruto. Where would be the punishment in that? You're not going home until you've cleaned off every single drop of paint, says Iruka from the top. Not looking forward to that later, considering Gramps is gonna kick my ass, says Naruto, going pale a bit knowing that his grandpa will be angry. So he continued to clean as it was silent with Iruka looking down. Naruto? Asks Iruka. What is it, sensei? Asks Naruto, curious. Well, I was just thinking, maybe after you clean this all up, I could take you out for some ramen before you head home. The good stuff, what do you think? Asks Iruka as Naruto got excited. Yeah. I'll have this cleaned in no time, says Naruto, getting back to work. Later that night, Naruto and Iruka were now at Ichiraku Ramen, a place that he had been coming to since he was 4. The Ichirakus have treated him like family, and considering he's their favorite, he comes to check on them all the time and orders ramen. So while Naruto was enjoying his bowl, Iruka asks Naruto a question he wanted to ask earlier. Naruto? Asks Iruka. Asks Naruto with noodles in his mouth. Why would you do that to the Hokage faces? I mean, you know who the Hokage are, don't you? Asks Iruka. Of course I do, says Naruto, finishing up the bowl. They were the greatest shinobi of their time. Unbeatable at the height of their power, and dictated much here in the village to make it how it is now, so that the will of fire could be passed on to the next generation. They're all my favorite, but the most amazing of them was Hashirama Senju and Minato Namikaze, who saved the village years ago, says Naruto. Not my fault, damn it, says Kurama in the seal. Of course it wasn't furball, thought Naruto, saying the obvious to Kurama as Iruka spoke again. Then why did you start, Iruka, as Naruto speaks again? Because I'm going to greater than any of them and surpass them all. Me. The next Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki, a shinobi legend. It's not about being respected by the village to me, considering most do disrespect me and words won't work, it takes action. To me it does, and considering my clan already respects and cares for me along with my friends. It's about them looking up to me as I get the results to prove I'm a gifted shinobi in my own right. Believe it, says Naruto with Iruka looking on, understanding him. By the way, can I ask a favor? Asks Naruto. You want another bowl? Asks Iruka. No, but I want to try on the headband, please, says Naruto as Iruka smiles a bit. Oh, this? No way. You can only wear the leaf headband when you finally graduate from the academy and become a shinobi. You've gotta pass the test tomorrow, and for you it will probably be easy enough considering as many times as you goof off, you do work hard to make up for it, says Irika. So uncool when you know I'm going to pass, says Naruto. Hey, is that why you took off your goggles? Asks Irika with a grin. I want another bowl actually, says Naruto with Irika chuckling as they enjoy their meal. Senju Uzumaki District. Naruto opened the door quietly and closed it quietly to not be caught entering. As he walked in, he saw Tanjiro on his knees and on a pillow with a few lumps on his head, as Kamado was sitting on his own with a stick in hand and folded arms as Naruto was heading in the direction of the stairs but knew he wasn't getting out of this. So Hokage Monument, huh? Asks Kamado in a neutral but cold gaze. Yes, says Naruto, sweating as he looked at his uncle Tanjiro. He got me. Nothing I could really do and no point hiding, says Tanjiro, rubbing his head. I gotta say, says Kamado, coming in front of Naruto as he patted him on the head. Good job, says Kamado with a smile, making Naruto shocked as well as Tanjiro. It was nothing, says Naruto as he smiled, but it went away when Kamado hit him over the head. Oh, what was that for? You said good job. You old fart, says Naruto, angry. You got caught. And who are you calling old fart? Asks Kamado, angry. Boys, says the voice of Momo, yelling while making them all freeze and start sweating as there was a dark aura around her. What have I said about violence in the house? Asks Momo, with them not responding and too scared. Go to bed. Now, says Momo, yelling with an echo in her voice. Yes, says all of them, hugging each other scared, while deciding and running away altogether. Still got it, says Momo with a smile as she heads off to bed too. The next day would be a trip for sure. The next morning. At the academy, students were now in the room as this would be the final pieces to determine if they can become shinobi of the Hidden Leaf. As Irika began to speak to his students in the classroom to inform them. We will now start the final exam that has 6 parts in total. Written exam, shurikenjutsu, sparring for taijutsu, ninjutsu, and genjutsu, along with some extra credit pieces, with one being fuinjutsu and kenjutsu that you can decide to take. As for the last part, when your name is called, proceed to the testing room. The final test will be on the clone jutsu, says Irika, looking at them. So let's begin the written exam, says Irika as Ken and Mizuki hand out papers as Mizuki hands Naruto his. Seriously? Am I joke to you? Thought Naruto with a bored look, as he could feel the genjutsu around him and the paper. Upon feeling this, he dispersed it to begin as he saw the questions. Mizuki had been trying to sabotage Naruto's grades and skills in the academy, and ultimately failed every time but still tried all the same. Many were above the level of a graduation test, but he answered them all correctly. So within about 10 minutes he was done. He came down and handed it to Irika, who saw this and was shocked because this was the wrong paper, but all right. Naruto, why didn't you tell me you had an advanced paper along with it being the wrong one? Asked Irika. Didn't want to bother you, but if you want me to do the right paper I can, says Naruto, with Irika handing it to him and finishing it in front of him and handing it to him to begin getting back to his seat. Damn the brat, thought Mizuki, gritting his teeth subtly. When the test was done, Ken took them and would grade them himself immediately while the other tests went on. Later, shurikenjutsu. All the students were outside now as Irika began to speak. Alright, next we'll begin your test on shurikenjutsu. It will see how your accuracy with them is, says Irika as he began calling names up. The civilian kids could barely get 5 out of 10, while the exception was Sakura getting 7 out of 10. Most of the clan heirs got 8 out of 10. Sasuke got 10 out of 10 with his fan club swooning over him. Next up, Naruto Uzumaki, says Irika with him walking up, but he noticed with his senses that Hiruzen, who he called Gramps, or Old Man, was watching with his crystal ball and Hana was in the trees watching. Naruto began to feel the weight of the kunai and shuriken and could tell they were heavy as out of the corner of his eye Mizuki had smug grin. Naruto smiled as all he had to do was throw at the right angle and direction to get his score. Ra! Says Naruto, throwing the kunai with speed as they hit dead on 10 out of 10, breaking through the wooden dummy and sticking out the back. He then throws the shuriken in quick succession as they shred the target, and some out on the outside hitting the fence. Shocking all who seen except Shikamaru and Choji, who saw Naruto sometimes practice on trees for a better improvement to this. Good job, Naruto. 10 out of 10. Says Irika as Naruto walks back with Sasuke frowning a bit. Sparring test. We will now begin the sparring test. So pairs have already been decided, says Irika as he goes through the names. The civilian fights weren't all that great. Sakura and the clan heir fights either ended in a draw because of how long or winning. So the last fight was now coming up. Okay, last fight Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki, says Iruka as both step into the field. Okay, rules are simple. No Kekkai Genkai, just hand-to-hand combat. You will have a 10-minute fighting round and the match will be won when the other can't get up or forfeit, or it ends in a draw by time, understood? Asks Iruka as both nod. Okay, make the seal of confrontation, says Iruka as they do so. Now begin, says Iruka, starting it as Naruto goes in. Naruto punches and sends kicks with wild and savage speed, but anyone could tell it was a purpose considering he was never beaten in taijutsu. As Naruto goes in for another, Sasuke leans in and prepares to send a punch at Naruto that hit him, sending him back to the ground with his fangirls along with Ino and Sakura cheering and Naruto's friends and Iruka looking on, knowing this was just getting started. Face it, you can't beat me, loser, says Sasuke. As Naruto lay there and heard him, he started laughing. Okay, says Naruto, jumping to his feet, rushing in with a quick kick that had greater speed, making Sasuke dodge. Naruto sent palm strikes indicating his form was a mix of the gentle fist practiced by the Hyuga clan, while he also used the tip of his fingers for pressure points as an added mix that could be deadly. Naruto sent another punch with a swift kick towards his opponent, as Sasuke dodged. Naruto took that opening to swiftly grab Sasuke, jump a bit, and start spinning around his head and shoulders, as Naruto still had Sasuke in his grip while doing this to make him dizzy and disorientated while not being able to respond. He did this 6 times as he spun off of him, making him dizzy. Naruto got on his hands and then sent a swiping kick to the left to hit his jaw, making Sasuke step back more. Sasuke couldn't respond at all from such wild attacks. Naruto jumped back as he then took a running start, and then flipped forward to send his body at him, trying to drop kick Sasuke, which forced him to lift his right leg only for Naruto to use the other to kick his waist, sending him back a bit. Naruto was counting and knew he had about 7 minutes, as Sasuke rushed in with his own kick of the right leg, making Naruto lean back low. As he stood up fully when it was down in Sasuke's face, punching him hard against the right cheek, making him twisting while backing up. Naruto rushed in, grabbing Sasuke's right arm, wrapping his legs around the back and neck, flipping Sasuke to send him to the ground hard as he winced getting back up. Naruto continued his wild flurry of attacks as Sasuke responded to meet them in kind, as Naruto spun to the ground, spinning his legs, trying to take Sasuke's footing from under him as Sasuke got back. Naruto stopped spinning as he got to his hands and launched himself to Sasuke, hitting him with his head a bit, as he got to his feet, sending a punch to the shoulder that hit dead on the mark. Sasuke responded to hit back with a kick, with Naruto dodging and then going in for punches and open-handed strikes as Sasuke meets them, but noticed something. His hands are like solid rock even when it's in an open palm, thought Sasuke as Naruto hit his side dead on and continued to hit as Sasuke backed up for space, as Naruto didn't slow down in his stride as his next punch has smacked down. This is like fighting a wild savage animal. His strikes are wild but have strategy behind it. Damn it, thought Sasuke, frustrated as Naruto sent a kick and Sasuke dodged. Sasuke saw that he would have to strike lower, even lower than his opponent. As he did this, only for Naruto to get to his hand and bend his leg over his back, which was due to extreme flexibility, and sent a kick to Sasuke's head while sending his face to the dirt. The flexibility of his joints is superhuman, thought Sasuke with his nose bleeding and gritted teeth. 5 minutes, thought Naruto as he backflipped 3 times and took the 4th to jump up to his feet as he landed. Pretty amazing, aren't I? Asks Naruto, praising himself. I've spent years training to be flexible like this. I am free like water, steady and stable like earth, raging like fire, flowing like a leaf in the wind, fast like lightning, but wild like my whirlpool namesake of the Uzumaki, says Naruto with a deep chuckle as it turned to full-blown laughter with a grin on his face while he was bending his upper body backwards, so as to grab his legs as his head was upright between them as well while looking at Sasuke. For Sasuke's part, on seeing this, he definitely couldn't imagine doing that, neither could the others who were seeing this while being shocked with widened eyes. Let's finish this, shall we? Asks Naruto back up on his feet from releasing himself as he rushed in for more punches and kicks in wild succession in even greater speed than before. How is he getting faster? It's like he's some crazed person who gets stronger in conflict, thought Sasuke as Naruto got hits on his stomach and chest. Naruto grabbed Sasuke by the shoulders as he still is reeling from the strikes. You need to stop calling me a loser and calm down, says Naruto, sending his forehead quickly at Sasuke's, hitting it hard. Damn, did he fracture it? Thought Shikamaru, hearing it along with everyone wincing. Sasuke stumbled back and fell on his back, unconscious. What do you know? We had 1 second left in the fight anyway and I ended it, says Naruto, walking off back to stand next to Shikamaru. Winner Naruto, Mizuki, take him to the infirmary and get them to heal and wake him up to continue, says Iruka as Mizuki does so. With Hiruzen. Kamadu, what have you done to Naruto exactly? Asks Hiruzen, sweating at this. Trained him properly, says Kamadu with a smile. Wait, is that why Hana has been doing these flexibility exercises? Thought Some with a blush. What's wrong? It's like you noticed something, says Mikoto, curious at seeing her friend's face. It's nothing, says Some with a blush still on her face as she came to an answer as Mikoto has a grin. Ninjutsu test. For the ninjutsu part, they were to show something they learned in their own time. Sasuke showed off the fireball jutsu, while Naruto showed off a whirlpool-style jutsu. Genjutsu test. For this, everyone was tested to see if they could break it, and ended up passing. Fuinjutsu test. No one seemed to take the extra credit, so Naruto did for this part, and passed with flying colors on what he knew. Kenjutsu test. For this, Naruto went against Hate Gecko, being only able to last in a match with the man for 10 minutes, before losing the match, considering the man was a special jonin and his skill was Kenjutsu. Final test. Students were now back in the classroom as Iruka began to talk again. The final test, as mentioned before, will be on the clone jutsu, says Iruka. Now Naruto was in the testing room with Iruka, Ken, and Mizuki after being called. Okay Naruto, firstly, as we done with the others, do the substitution jutsu, says Iruka, with Ken throwing a kunai and Naruto replacing himself with a pencil he had. Very good and very precise. Now the transformation jutsu, says Iruka, with Naruto changing into a perfect replica of Hiruzen Sarutobi. Now the clone jutsu, says Iruka as Naruto does so. Shadow clone jutsu, says Naruto, making 20 of himself, while shocking the three. What? You can't use shadow clones. It's against the rules, says Mizuki, trying to move forward with his plan. Actually, Mizuki, it's allowed considering Uzumaki have Kage level chakra reserves and we need a substitute for the clone jutsu, says Ken. He's right, Mizuki. So calm down, says Iruka as Mizuki did so but was angry on the inside, as Iruka turned back to Naruto and spoke. Good Naruto, you pass. Now go and get your headband in whatever color you like, says Iruka with a smile. Right, says Naruto, happy as he went to get his and chose the cloth as black. Later that day, all the students were now back in the classroom as Naruto sat down waiting for Iruka to speak. Now the rookie of the year for this class is Naruto Uzumaki with the top grades for each year. And the top kunoichi is Sakura Haruno. Congratulations, says Iruka with everyone clapping. What? How is that possible? Asked Sakura, shocked that it wasn't Sasuke. You don't pay attention, do you? Well, I'll tell you why by saying I worked my ass off. And when I goofed around, I was either training or working to better myself, says Naruto, having a neutral tone in his voice. That title should belong to me instead of loser, says Sasuke, angry. Calm yourself. Considering I beat you, says Naruto calmly. Enough, you three. This is the decision, and it has already been submitted publicly, filed, and recorded as it cannot be changed, says Iruka, knowing people would try to change it. Now in 2 days in the morning I'll see you all for team placement. Enjoy the rest of your day, says Iruka as everyone leaves. Outside. That's my boy. I knew you could do it, says Kamadu, patting his grandson on the head with a smile. Well done, Naruto, says his grandmother Momo. You did well in getting Rookie of the Year, says Hina. I heard he did well in the Kenjutsu department as well, says Ju with a small tuck of the lips, not trying to smile with pride. Along with Fuinjutsu, says Hiyori with a smile. Once again, nicely done, Naruto, says Kazuki with a nod. Well, Naruto, your shinobi career begins here, so tonight you get your gear for the job, open it tomorrow, says Tanjiro. Along with the strength of 100 seal on your forehead, considering you did well in your training with me in medical ninjutsu, says Tsunade, hugging her grandson now as he hugged back. After the hug was complete, Jiraiya came and started to speak. Great work, Naruto, very well done, says Jiraiya with a smile. Also, your gift is on your bed back at the district, says Jiraiya, whispering to him, as Naruto nodded. Well, congratulations, Naruto. Now come on, let's all go out to dinner before Naruto has to meet up with Hana, says Makino, teasing her nephew. Yeah, okay, says Naruto, trying to hide his blush. Much later. Hana right now was at the top of the Hokage monument. As she was waiting for Naruto and thinking about the promise they made, and how close they've been since they were small children. It had really been a long journey for them, as they knew their feelings for each other were more than friends. As such, the memories of the past brought a content smile to her face. So while this happened, Naruto appeared in a body flicker, making her look over to see him. Hana, says Naruto smiling, as she turns to do the same. Well, I passed. One step closer to our promise, says Naruto sitting down next to her. As he said this, Hana nodded at the accomplishment, knowing she and Naruto wouldn't have to wait much longer. Good, and as a reward, says Hana, trailing off, as she leaned over to kiss him on the lips as he kissed back. The kiss lasts for a few seconds, before she leaned back and spoke. That's for completing the first part, says Hana with her smile, as Naruto spoke. Well, I have a gift for you as well, says Naruto, handing her a small box. Open it, says Naruto, waiting eagerly. Once he said this, Hana started tearing the wrappings off, only to then opens the box, as what she found inside caused her eyes to widen as she spoke. Naruto, says Hana, shocked. Well, in the Uzumaki clan, it's custom to give our Hanafuda earrings to someone special we care about, says Naruto, explaining as he spoke again. So for me, you're that person, Hana, says Naruto with a nod. Upon finishing his reasoning for why, Naruto was enveloped by Hana hugging him as he hugged back. Naruto, thank you. You don't know how much this means to me, says Hana, grateful while releasing him. Well, go on. Put them on, says Naruto, wanting to see them on her. Hana puts down the box, as Naruto goes behind her in order to hold up her hair, as she takes off her first earrings, and starts putting on her new ones as Naruto watches. Once they were on, Hana straights her hair a bit as she spoke. Well, how do they look? Asks Hana as she finished adjusting herself. He didn't say anything for the moment, just enjoying her beauty. The sunset helped in that area, as it really gave his eyes a new sight to behold, as the earrings were a nice touch. It wasn't some lust or anything close to it, just intense care for her and happiness as he spoke. They look beautiful on you, says Naruto, smiling very content, as she smiled back. Thank you. I'll make sure to wear them all the time then, says Hana as she went to stand up with Naruto doing the same. So what are you going to do now, Naruto? Asks Hana. Well, I have to meet my grandma Tsunade back at home for her to place the strength of 100 seal on my forehead, says Naruto, giving his answer. I see. Then I should get going as well. I have to go get ready for a mission for tomorrow. So I'll see you after, says Hana, kissing him on the cheek, before body flickering away as he did the same. On the streets of Konoha. Naruto was currently walking the streets of Konoha back to the district as people saw what he had on his forehead. He ignored the people, as most would look at him with a glare, and he wouldn't entertain their petty anger for something that was not his fault. To him, the people of Konoha were an unavoidable annoyance in his eyes. Though right now, Naruto was thinking of the promise he made some time ago, that whoever it was going around as his great-great-grandfather Madara would pay for his father and mother's death. Upon making this promise, Kurama also had informed Naruto that he was not under the Uchiha clan's curse of hatred due to the fact of being an Uzumaki, as their will to overcome personal hatred was stronger in a sense of speaking. So now, Naruto was currently walking and enjoying the sights as someone put a hand on his shoulder as he turned to see who it was, and finding it was Mizuki. Naruto was getting irritated knowing this would be some stupid attempt. Hey Naruto, I was looking all over for you, says Mizuki, being friendly, but Naruto could feel the negative emotions coming off this prick in droves. What for, Mizuki-sensei? Asks Naruto, acting curious. Well, I just got out of a meeting with Lord Third and he wanted me to give you a test to see where your skills of stealth are, says Mizuki, keeping the act. What a damn idiot, says Kurama in the seal, seeing this man's stupidity, but would give him an A+ for effort. Okay, what is it? Asks Naruto. Just hurry up, damn it, and tell me, thought Naruto. Well, says Mizuki, trailing off. Later that night with Iruka. Currently at a small home, Iruka was laying down thinking of some old memories from his past. Around the time of Nine Tails' attack, when there was so much fear in his heart, as he sometimes couldn't sleep and would stay awake through the night. Though this wasn't the case now, as he heard a knock at the door. Iruka-sensei, wake up, says the voice of Mizuki on the other side of the door, yelling. Upon hearing this, Iruka gets up from his bed and goes over to open the door. What is it? Asks Iruka, now concerned. You need to come to Hokage Mansion immediately. It's Naruto. He stole the sacred scroll, says Mizuki, shocking Irika. You mean the scroll of sealing? Oh no, says Irika, now very concerned upon hearing this. With Naruto. Currently in a wooded area somewhere in Konoha, Naruto was sitting down looking through the scroll. As he went to unroll it and speak out. Now let's see what we're working with, says Naruto as he uses his Sharingan to copy it all down while being shocked to read what he saw. For symbol seal, this technique requires a great deal of talent to perform. The user applies the seal's formula to an object or a human's body, sealing a large enemy or an evil spirit within them. If 2-4 symbol seal are used, a stronger seal is created. This is called the 8 trigram sealing style. If the 4 symbol seals do not completely overlap with each other, this allows the enemy/spirit's chakra to merge with whoever they've been sealed into. Used on Naruto Uzumaki to seal away the 9 tails into his body. The 4 symbol seal is based on the Fuinjutsu of Yuzushiyogakure's Uzumaki clan. 4 symbol seal is also left on the stomachs of those who performed the Reaper Death Seal. Fuinjutsu, supplementary, short range, 0.5 m. 8 trigram sealing style. The 8 trigram sealing style is a Fuinjutsu of the Uzumaki clan. A 4 symbol seal is used to seal a large enemy or an evil spirit into a target, such as an object or a human's body. A stronger seal is created if 2-4 symbol seal are used. This is called the 8 trigram sealing style. If the 4 symbol seals do not completely overlap with each other, this allows the enemy/spirit's chakra to merge with whoever they've been sealed into. Fuinjutsu, supplementary, short range, 0.5 m. Sealing Jutsu, Reaper Death Seal. The Reaper Death Seal is a sealing technique developed by the Uzumaki clan to call upon the power of the Shinigami. After the hand seals are performed, the user's soul is partly separated from their body and suspended behind them. Behind their soul appears the Shinigami, which restrains their soul with its hair. Only the summoner is able to see the Shinigami at this point. After a few moments, the Shinigami wraps its left arm with prayer beads and chants unintelligibly until a curse seal appears on its arm. It then drives its arm into the summoner's soul, thus allowing the summoner to call upon the Shinigami to seal a target. The Shinigami's arm emerges from the summoner's body and grasps the target's soul. The target's soul is sealed within the body of the summoner, represented by a swirl pattern on their torso that is similar in appearance to the 8 trigram sealing style. The summoner can, with difficulty, continue moving and speaking, allowing them to finish any lingering business they may have, but they will die as soon as their soul has been fully consumed. The soul of the summoner and their victims do not pass on to the Pure Land, instead being trapped within the Shinigami's stomach, destined to fight each other for all eternity. Souls can only be freed from the Shinigami's stomach by using Reaper Death Seal, release. To use, an individual wears the Shinigami mask of the Uzumaki clan, causing them to become possessed by the Shinigami. If the individual wearing the mask slices open their own stomachs, the Shinigami will do the same, and any souls inside it will be freed. However, the mask doesn't have any properties that will prevent its user from dying of that injury. S rank, offensive, all ranges, snake, boar, ram, rabbit, dog, rat, bird, horse, snake, clap hands. Flying Raijin Jutsu, a space, time ninjutsu created by Tobarama Senju and later perfected by Minato Namikaze. S rank, supplementary, seal of confrontation. Shadow Clone Jutsu, a clone technique created by Tobarama Senju. B rank, supplementary, clone seal or tiger or horse seal. The user's chakra is evenly divided between themselves and their clones. Creating one clone will give it half the user's chakra, creating 2 clones will give each a third of the user's chakra, and so on. Depending on how much chakra the user has and how many clones they make, this rapid depletion of their reserves can be dangerous. Because of this, usually only those of at least Jonin level can safely use the standard shadow clone technique. The multiple shadow clone technique, which creates hundreds of clones to the standard version's dozens, is unsafe to the point of being forbidden along with elemental variants in battle. Shadow clones can also accelerate training periods. For example, by training alongside one shadow clone for 1 hour, the user will have 2 hours worth of training experience once the shadow clone disperses. By using hundreds of clones, training that would usually take weeks or months can be completed within a few hours. But because of how much chakra it takes to create just one shadow clone, and because the training itself will likely be arduous even without shadow clones, although they are separate, shadow clones maintain small links between themselves and their original, intended to allow the user to re-establish control when needed. Users can exploit this link to network their clones, causing changes in their own chakra to extend to all the others. B rank, supplementary, clone seal or tiger or horse. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. This technique is a larger-scale version of the standard shadow clone technique. There is no real difference between them beyond the number of shadow clones being created. Creating even a single shadow clone will require half of a user's chakra, for which reason the normal shadow clone technique is generally only safe to use for Jonin. Because of how many clones are created with the multiple shadow clone technique, the chakra cost is far greater, rendering it unsafe to use for most people other than the Hokage. For this reason, the first Hokage declared it forbidden and hid it away in the scroll of seals. A rank, supplementary, clone seal. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. This technique was invented by Hiruzen Sarutobi, demonstrating his title as the professor with its conceptualization and efficiency. After throwing a single shuriken, the user duplicates it with their chakra, in the same way that the shadow clone technique makes copies of the user. Creating shadow clones is already difficult on its own, but specifically duplicating inanimate objects is even more difficult. In an instant, the 1,000 copied shuriken spread throughout the area, surrounding the target. Because the shuriken are physically real, the target is attacked from every direction, which they have almost no chance of completely avoiding. It can also be used for the flying Raijin Jutsu. A rank, offensive, short to mid-range 0-10m, ox dog dragon rat dog boar snake tiger. Kunai Shadow Clone Technique. The technique operates the same as the parent jutsu just with kunai. Water Release Shadow Clone Technique. The clone disperses and hits the enemy with a large amount of water to throw them back. A rank, offensive, supplementary. Earth Release Shadow Clone Technique. The user creates a shadow clone made of mud. Unlike most clone techniques, after being struck, the clone can reform itself. A rank, offensive, supplementary. Fire Release Shadow Clone Technique. The user can hit an opponent with fire to damage them when it is dispersed. A rank, offensive, supplementary. Wind Release Shadow Clone Technique. The user can hit an opponent with blades of wind when dispersed, damaging the opponent. A rank, offensive, supplementary. Lightning Release Shadow Clone Technique. This technique allows the user to make a shadow clone infused with lightning. Because it is a shadow clone, it is able to perform techniques and interact with the environment. If the clone is injured, it will revert to its natural lightning state, at the same time electrocuting whatever makes contact with it. Unlike a regular shadow clone, however, it does not send chakra back to the user upon reverting to lightning. A rank, offensive, supplementary. Shadow Clone Explosion, a technique created by Itachi Uchiha. A rank, offensive, short range 0-5m, has potential. Genjutsu, Infinite Darkness Jutsu. The user places a hallucinatory darkness on a target's eyesight, causing them to see nothing but black, the sensation of being at the bottom of a deep hole. Because the target cannot see, they are very vulnerable to attack. Although this handicap is dangerous even to the likes of the Hokage, it is not insurmountable as the victim is able to sense attacks to try to defend himself and smell his attackers in order to stage a counterattack. A rank, supplementary, short to mid-range 0-10m, hand seals, tiger. The 8 Inner Gates. The 8 gates are 8 specific tenketsu along the chakra pathway. The 8 gates is described as a double-edged sword, empowering users by sacrificing their own health and safety. Such risks have caused the 8 gates to be likened to kinjutsu. When opening one of the 8 gates, users are typically shown opening all preceding gates as well, though it is not clear if this is actually required. To have all of the 8 gates open at once is known as 8 gates released formation. 8 Inner Gates Formation. This is a heightened state that is achieved by opening all 8 gates. The user opens their body's 8th gate by puncturing themselves just above the heart, causing a bloody steam, resembling a flaming red aura, to start emanating from their pores, hair, and eyebrows. Their body will continue to heat up until it's been cooked from the inside out, reducing the user to ash. Opening all of the 8 gates inevitably leads to death. While all of the 8 gates are open, the user's heart pumps at maximum power, granting them power 100 times greater than they are usually capable of, far beyond that of the 5 Kage. Summoning, Rashomon. The user summons a large gate. The gate itself is designed to look frightening, with the gate's doors having a demonic face upon them. This is to intimidate onlookers, potentially warding them off. The gate's doors are tightly shut and solidly built, making it useful as a shield against most forms of physical attack. The stronger the attack, the more damage the attacker will do to themselves when they try and fail to break through the gate. Despite this, it can also be used in a 3-gate variant, and beyond that is a 5-gate variant. B-rank, defensive. Hand seal, snake. Summoning, Triple Rashomon. The summoning, Triple Rashomon is an upgrade to the standard summoning, Rashomon, which, as its name suggests, summons not 1, but 3 menacing Rashomon. The technique requires 2 summoning seals to be completed, and these gates serve the same function as the single Rashomon, but with triple the defense. The first gate takes the attack head-on, the second reduces the attack's power, and the third disperses the pressure, causing all attacks that come in contact with it to lose their power before they can be effective. The defensive capabilities of this technique are further boosted by the lack of hand seals required to perform this technique. Summoning, 5-layer Rashomon. While one already boasting enormous defensive properties, with this technique the user summons 5 Rashomon gates to block an incoming attack. The defense is quite formidable, and with 5 gates, the user is also able to change the trajectory of an attack as powerful as a tailed beast ball equipped with a Susanoo sword. The defensive qualities of this technique are further boosted by the lack of hand seals required to perform it. A rank defensive. Summoning, impure world reincarnation, binds the soul of a deceased person to a living vessel, restoring them as they were when they were alive in order to do their summoner's bidding. It was originally created by Tobarama Senju, some time after which he declared it a kinjutsu. Before this technique can be performed, the user must first acquire some of the DNA of the person they intend to reincarnate. Basically amounts to grave robbing, although blood stains or organs salvaged after the target's death also work. The soul of the intended reincarnated must also reside in the Pure Land. Souls trapped in the stomach of the Shinigami, for example, cannot be reincarnated so long as they reside there. A living sacrifice is also required for the reincarnated soul to use as a vessel. Parent Jutsu, summoning techniques rank, supplementary, Tiger Snake Dog Dragon Clap Hands. Spirit Transformation Technique. This technique allows the user's spirit to materialize and leave their body, which is then able to take possession of a target, enabling them to freely manipulate the victim's body at will. As a result of being possessed by this jutsu user, the host's body decays from this technique had been used to kill a great number of shinobi during his only known way to counteract the technique is to trap the user within a barrier, such as the 4 violet flames formation, before they can activate it. Tobarama Senju was capable of using a similar technique, where he can send his soul into another person's body if they were still alive, but unlike this technique, it is labeled a kinjutsu. S rank, offensive, supplementary, all ranges, Tiger Ram Rat Horse Boar Hare. For Red Yang formation, a powerful barrier formation noted to only be usable by those of Kage caliber, whereby 4 shinobi, standing in a square formation, erect a large barrier that is red in color. It was stated to be several times stronger than the 4 violet flames formation, and is highly malleable and elastic. When assaulted by a tailed beast ball from the 10 tails, the barrier simply distorted its shape, forcing the brunt of the attack upwards while it was left completely intact and reformed to its original users can create openings within the barrier to allow passage. A rank, defensive, supplementary, long range, 10M+, hand seal, RAM. When Naruto got down, he was just shocked and now knew that if this scroll ended up in the wrong hands, it would be catastrophic. To think the bastard Mizuki wants this. He's too dumb to use most of these and isn't even powerful enough or ambitious enough, so who would thought Naruto assessing the situation in front of him? Naruto, some of these you can use and some of these you can't. Under any circumstances, do not use the Reaper Death Seal, Reanimation Jutsu, and Spirit Transformation Technique. There's a reason why your family and Hiruzen want this scroll to be kept locked away. Though I will say this, work on the Flying Raijin Jutsu, it will take an extreme amount of time to figure it out but it's worth learning, says Kurama in the seal advising and observing this. How much time are we talking, Kurama? Thought Naruto wondering the time range. If you're lucky, you'll figure it out in a year or 2. Maybe less give or take with clones, says Kurama in the seal, as he continued. If you work hard enough to understand the inner working of the jutsu, you may unlock more than what you've asked for, says Kurama in the seal making Naruto groan. Well, greatness doesn't happen instantly, that's for sure. Though, it doesn't mean I can't use the Flying Raijin style kunai considering they're pretty comfortable for combat, thought Naruto responding to Kurama. With Hiruzen and Kamadu. Hiruzen and Kamadu were standing before Leaf Shinobi who were ready but complaining and saying things about the current situation before them. Lord Hokage, this is not just a prank. This is a serious crime, one that impacts village security, says the first shinobi. That scroll contains secrets, ones that were sealed away by the first Hokage. Secrets known only to our village, says the second shinobi. If it falls into the wrong hands, they could destroy our entire way of life, says the third shinobi. As the complaints continued, Hiruzen sighed before speaking out. All right, bring Naruto here at once. Unharmed, says Hiruzen being final on the matter. Yes, sir, says all of the shinobi, as they run off to find him. Uzumaki clansman, the same goes for you. Find Naruto, and bring him here, says Kamadu giving out his own orders. Yes, Lord Kamadu, says the Uzumaki shinobi, as they jump off to leave. So with both Hiruzen and Kamadu now alone, Kamadu begins to speak first. Do you think it will all go according to plan? Asks Kamadu curious on the matter. Yes, it will, says Hiruzen nodding while very sure of it. With Naruto. Currently with Naruto, an hour has passed since he started sitting down with his legs crossed calmly waiting, as he sensed Irika coming into the area now. Deciding to open his eyes as he heard the man speak. It's all over, Naruto, says Iruka, breathing a bit hard. Yeah, it is, says Naruto, standing up now. You're getting better at this, sensei, but I already had time to learn most of the techniques, while finding some I even can't use at all, says Naruto with a grin. He's been out here practicing, but not only that, has had enough time to learn most of them. Even got done early to sit down and relax, thought Iruka with a proud look on his face, as Naruto's voice brought him out of this. Anyway, Mizuki-sensei said something along the lines of being assessed for stealth by the Hokage. That's why I had to take the scroll, says Naruto, informing him and causing Iruka's eyes to widen. What? What you mean by, asks Iruka, only to sense something from the tree line coming towards them both. Look out, says Iruka, yelling as he pushes Naruto out of the way, only for him to land on his feet. As this action was performed, Naruto saw that Iruka was hit by a few kunai in his legs, cutting the man's mobility down at the moment, as Naruto heard a familiar yet annoying voice. I see you find our little hideaway, says the voice of Mizuki, as he stood standing on a tree branch. Iruka looked up at the man, only to grit his teeth a bit as he spoke. So that's the way it is, huh? I should have known, says Iruka, clearly irritated now. Honestly, it was bright as day for me, says Naruto, getting both of their attention. Attempting to sabotage my test scores and techniques through the academy. Trying to get me to fail the academy as whole, but ultimately on your part failing and succeeding. Only to resort in having me steal the scroll of sealing for you, which was a great mistake on your end. Considering Lord Third is aware of the situation by now because I told my grandfather to inform him of your intentions, says Naruto, shocking them both as he continued speaking. Ultimately, you failed, Mizuki, as this whole situation before us was to lure out a traitor of the village, says Naruto, finishing up with a calm expression on his face. Iruka, for his part, was entirely shocked at what he just heard. The fact that this was planned to lure out a traitor of the village really spoke to how much of a fool Mizuki was. Though right now, the man himself had one final card to play that could help in his favor. Really? I wouldn't say that, considering you failed to see that the whole village has lied to you for 13 years, says Mizuki as his face developed a sadistic grin. The facial expression along with the words spoke by Mizuki only worried Iruka more. Iruka knew what the man was attempting to do and say, but he also wouldn't allow it. So before Iruka could speak in order to stop him, Naruto spoke out. You mean the 9 tails sealed inside my gut? I've known about since I was 6 years old, asks Naruto, still having a bored look on his face, while shocking the two men. Seriously, you people are complete idiots if you think I'm the fox. Once more, it also baffles me how we're the top shinobi village that has come out on top in every war, but can't tell the difference between the giant beasts and the children they seal them into. Which is why I'll admit it, Kumogakure does the best in regards to how their Jinchuriki are treated like heroes, says Naruto with a glare now as he continued further. Though as I said from the beginning, Mizuki, you failed. So stop with your miserable attempts at deceiving me, traitor, says Naruto, now very annoyed. Once this was said, it only shocked both men that Naruto had known for so long. It also really spoke a lot to how much Naruto controlled his emotions, when it came to his true feelings on how he felt about most of the village. He loved the village as whole and what it stood for, but he just hated most of the people that residing within its walls. To him, he wasn't looking for pity or a sense of acknowledgement. What he was looking towards was a goal beyond personal or public recognition. So now, seeing his plans failed, Mizuki was enraged as he went to strike out now. Then if you know so much, die, says Mizuki, yelling out as he went to throw a Fuma Shuriken with incredible speed. As the weapon came down with the intent to strike Naruto, he didn't have enough to react and counter. Which is why for Iruka, he decided to intervene. Naruto! Get down! Says Iruka, yelling out now in urgency, as Naruto did as told. So once he hit the ground, the shuriken hit dead-on contact with flesh. Iruka's flesh, as he decided to take the blow for his now former student. As Naruto looked up very surprised, as he spoke out. Why? Asks Naruto, shocked at seeing this. Because we're the same. When I lost my parents, no one seemed to care. They didn't have time for me and just forgot I was there. My grades dropped, I became the class clown. I just wanted them to see me and to know my name. My schoolwork wasn't good enough to get their attention. So I did crazy things and then I had to pay for it. It was very hard for me, says Iruka as he continued further. It's a bit different for you, Naruto. You may have not given up, and you may have worked hard to excel at what you do best, but it doesn't hide what you truly feel about certain things. As that pain you carry only fades if you open up to your family about it. You have them, and they're willing to listen, says Iruka with tears in his eyes. I'll be there to listen too. As your former sensei. says Iruka with tears coming from his eyes. These words surprised Naruto because he didn't know the man cared that much. So right now, Naruto decides to get up off the ground and pull the Fuma shuriken from his back as he spoke. Sensei, I'm going to need you to hold this while I handle Mizuki, says Naruto handing him the scroll. You're a fool if you think you can beat me, demon, says Mizuki yelling. Azura's rage mark activate, says Naruto as the mark on the left side of his forehead activates, glowing red. Once this action took place, Naruto went forward and sped up the tree towards Mizuki, only to punch him hard in the face and send him falling back off the branch and into the ground. I think I can beat you, you bastard, says Naruto yelling out with anger in his voice as he went to rush forward. Mizuki for his part quickly got up now, as he went to throw another one of his Fuma shuriken at Naruto, only for Naruto to grab and throw it back, as Mizuki went to dodge while Naruto came speeding in to send a punch right into Mizuki's face, cracking his nose and sending him into a tree, as the man himself was holding his face in pain while blood came out from his nose. You know nothing of pain for being hated for something that wasn't your fault. You and this entire village are a pack of fools and cowards, says Naruto speaking calmly, as he continued to walk forward. Don't ever think because of rank that you could ever take me on in a fight, says Naruto walking over to him, only to stop some space away. You'll never be accepted by this village. Even Iruka knows that you're a beast, says Mizuki gritting out the words. That's right. That is how beasts are, says Iruka speaking now, as he continued. But that's not who Naruto is. He's nothing like that. Naruto's one of a kind, works hard, puts his whole heart into it. Sure, he'll mess up sometimes and everyone tries to jump on him, awakening his fury. But what he holds dear to him only makes him stronger. That's what separates him from being a beast. So you're wrong, he's nothing like the 9 tails that's sealed inside of him. He's Naruto Uzumaki of the village hidden in the leaves, says Iruka making good on this fact. Sensei thought Naruto shocked. I don't understand why you're shocked. They should know this already, damn it, says Kurama yelling inside the seal. To believe you would say such bullshit, says Mizuki grunting to his feet. I have no problems with killing a bastard like you, but I'm gonna keep you alive for answers. As for the crime of touching my sensei, you're gonna feel pain reminiscent to death, says Naruto deactivating the mark and putting his hands in a seal. Shadow clone jutsu, says Naruto creating dozens of clones, making Mizuki pale. Beat him down hard. Make sure he's barely breathing but alive, says Naruto with a grin on his face, as all of the clones run at Mizuki with the intention of doing as ordered of them. Aya! Says Mizuki yelling in fear. Later. After a couple of minutes had passed, Mizuki now lied on the ground, now in a puddle of his own blood, now bruises covering his face as proof. So now, Naruto looks at his work and speaks out. I kind of got carried away, says Naruto scratching the back of his head nervously, as he now looks at Iruka. Hey, are you okay, Iruka-sensei? Asks Naruto running over. Yeah, says Iruka as he had a thought and looks up. Back with Hiruzen and Kamadu. Everyone was now gathered back in front of the Hokage and Kamadu as Hiruzen spoke. Everything's alright now, don't worry. Naruto will be back soon along with the scroll and with the traitor Mizuki, says Hiruzen, informing them of the situation. Call it off, says Kamadu, ordering his men. Yes, Lord Kamadu, says his clansman. With Naruto. Naruto and Iruka had appeared in front of the Hokage with the scroll and Mizuki. Mission complete. Here's the scroll back along with the traitor. Iruka-sensei needs medical attention as well, says Naruto. Well done, Naruto. We'll speak later tomorrow after you speak with your Jonin squad leader. As of now, this is marked as AS rank mission for saving village secrets, and will be added to your record along with pay. Now go home and get some rest. You have a big day tomorrow, says Hiruzen as medical ninja helped Iruka while Umbu took Mizuki off for questioning. Yes, sir, says Naruto as he and Kamadu walked off. Yeah, the leaf isn't good beside my own, thought Hiruzen, smiling seeing them leave. The next morning, Naruto woke up bright and early. He brushed his teeth, showered, and ate breakfast as he went back up to his room to put on his shinobi outfit, opening the box and started getting dressed. After getting dressed, he now wore a mesh armor t-shirt under his long-sleeve, high-collared white shirt that hugged his upper body as the color of the shirt hugged his neck as it was meant to, with the Uzumaki clan symbol on the shoulders and a large on the back with the kanji for Whirlpool Pillar, Yuzuno Hashira. Above the clan symbol, along with 2 crimson bands on both of his sleeves and over his forearms, were black steel gauntlets, but on his right ring finger was a ring he got from Hana. As part of the outfit, which was red and bore the kanji for flower, Hana. As for his pants, he now wore black tight pants meant to be comfortable but wrap his lower body. He wore long black socks with black sandals and black ankle tape to wrap around. Along with this he had custom shin guards that were black plating but had a gold color on the lining with spikes made to cut an injury but not deep enough to scar, only hurt, and a white, open front apron with 3 Uzumaki clan symbols, one on the left, middle, and right with crimson flame pattern along with white diamonds in the flames on the bottom, designed to look like his father's haori a bit. The last piece that went to this is a haori, 2 different patterns, one solid black on his right and the other to his left. Right solid white with the Uzumaki symbol on the shoulder, and crimson flame patterns at the sleeve. On the back was the kanji for fire, high, in red, and at the ends lightning bolt patterns. The outfit is made to be light armor but durable in combat, and comfortable, and what is special about it is that it has few ninjutsu runes in for added protection, along with the person being able to turn it solid black on stealth missions, but the name for the outfit would be called Crimson Pillar Outfit. Facial appearance was the same with Tobirama's facial marking, alongside his whiskers, and the red markings around his eyes. He still wore his Hanafuda earrings along with his usual red hair, but what was now on his forehead under his shinobi headband along with the tessellated triangle headband that his uncle Kazuki gave him was the strength of 100 seal that his grandmother, Tsunade, put there for his neck. Inside the shirt, he wore 3 necklaces. One being a small Uzumaki spiral Hanafuda piece but with Hana's chakra contained inside it, as she wears one herself with his chakra inside it. The second he wears is a small red beaded necklace, and the last one is a black necklace with a single Uzumaki spiral symbol on it as the pendant. As for gear, he had a black ninja tool belt to wrap around the waist, and strapped to it were a pouch for his tools along with his tri-pronged kunai and 2 katanas, one his own and the other belongs to his mother. The first one is his and is called Whirlpool's Embrace. The blade is blue with a distinct white hamon, and its tsuba has sun-like edges. Its hamon is pitch black colored and Kanemoto style, having the appearance of a saw or sharp teeth. It has Uzumaki clan spirals on the hilt, being wrapped with black silk. The kashira is black dragon, tsuba and kojiri end cap are golden, and the sheath is black, decorated with dark red Uzumaki spirals, and along the blade is the kanji for maelstrom. The second blade is his mother's sword and is called Crimson Princess. The blade has the same design as the other but is the color of crimson red and Kanemoto style, having the appearance of a saw or sharp teeth, but the line is black. The crimson red tsuba is shaped like a multi-layered flame and the pommel is covered in black samigawa. Along the blade is the kanji for red hot habanero. Now on his leg was a black shuriken holster on his right knee. He had 2. Along with this he had a few ninjutsu scroll there as well for his other weapons in case if he ever had to switch. Overall he was ready for this day and looked at himself in the mirror and had one thought to this outfit. Yeah, I look good, but something tells me it's going to be troublesome towards fangirls, thought Naruto. Don't start sound like a Nara please, says Kurama in the seal. I'm not, but you will see what I'm talking about on the way for my shinobi registration picture and papers, thought Naruto, responding to Kurama. Naruto made his way downstairs to the door to leave for the day. Alright, I'm leaving out, says Naruto as all of his family said goodbye but noticed the outfit. See you later, Naruto. Just try not to attract too many girls with that outfit, alright, says his grandmother Momo, teasing. Kami, I hope not, says Naruto under his breath as he left out. Later. Naruto was now at the top of Hokage Mansion for his picture as the cameraman was ready. Alright kid, just tell me when you're ready, says the man. I'm ready, says Naruto as he made a serious face and the man took the picture. With Hiruzen. Hiruzen was with Biwako and Kamadu as they were now looking over the registration picture. This is a very good photo, Naruto. Very serious, says Biwako with a smile. Take it again. It's too serious, says Hiruzen. Like you're one to talk with the picture of yourself and the other Kage on your office wall, says Naruto, yelling out. Do it again, says Hiruzen calmly. No, says Naruto. Naruto, says Hiruzen in a tone of warning as Naruto does a hand seal to use the sexy jutsu. Pretty please, Lord Hokage, says a transformed Naruto in a sultry voice. As this happens, Hiruzen flies back with a nosebleed, while a vein popped out on Biwako's forehead as she looked at her husband, making a mental note to punish him later. Though for Kamadu, Naruto's little stunt made him put his hand over his mouth to hold in laughter, as Hiruzen got back up into his seat. That's the sexy jutsu you say? Very tricky. Much too tricky, don't do it again, says Hiruzen as Naruto nodded proudly. I'm marking it down in the scroll as a forbidden jutsu, says Hiruzen, wiping his nose with a tissue with Naruto laughing a bit as someone came in. Today's the day, old man. I will says the kid but trips over his scarf as Naruto's sweat drops at this while Biwako chuckles a bit. My grandson, Konohamaru. Another headache, thought Hiruzen with a smirk. Konohamaru has short spiky brown hair, blue eyes, and a small chip in his tooth. He wears a gray helmet with a hole at the top for his hair to stick out of. He has a long blue scarf. Are you okay, honorable grandson? Asks a jonin named Ebisu. Ebisu has dark hair and brown eyes and is never seen without his trademark sunglasses. Usually he is in the standard Konoha shinobi outfit, albeit without the flak jacket. He also wears his forehead protector like a bandana. When deployed on missions, or if the situation calls for it, he will don the flak jacket as part of his outfit. Something tripped me, says Konohamaru, rubbing his face. Alright, who is this shrimp? Thought Naruto as Konohamaru looked over to him. As did Ebisu, with Naruto looking at the man with a cold gaze. It's that kid! Humph, the nine-tailed fox, of course. He's the worst kind of troublemaker, thought Ebisu as Konohamaru walked up to Naruto. Alright. You're the one who tripped me, weren't you? Asked Konohamaru, accusing him. His name is Naruto, honey. Be nice, says Biwako with a smile as Naruto grabbed him by the helmet. Alright. First of all, you tripped on your own scarf, says Naruto, standing, lifting Konohamaru up to him eye level. Hey! Take your hands off of him right now! He is the honorable grandson of the honorable third Hokage, says Ebisu, with Naruto looking at the kid. That stopped him. Just like all the rest, thought Konohamaru. I wouldn't give a damn if he was your grandmother, considering she's right there, says Naruto, bonking him on the head as he turned to Ebisu. As for you, I don't follow orders from a closet pervert, says Naruto, making note of this out loud, as Ebisu looked embarrassed. Anyway, see you guys later, says Naruto, now leaving the room. With Konohamaru running around with Naruto, things are sure to get hard in terms of paperwork, thought Hiruzen, seeing Konohamaru leaving and Ebisu spazzing out to find him. The next morning with Naruto. Naruto was now walking into the academy after eating breakfast with his family, wearing his outfit. Yesterday on his way out he talked to Konohamaru, and even trained him to use the sexy jutsu along, finding out why he was trying to defeat his grandfather. Afterwards he gave him advice, and eventually the two became rivals, with Konohamaru looking up to him as an older brother. So now he walked into the classroom to his seat. When he walked in, everyone noticed the outfit, but also the serious but calm face he had, with his fangirls swooning over him as he sat down in his seat next to Sasuke, enjoying the quiet mood until it was ruined by running footsteps. I'm first, says both Sakura and Ino, as Naruto noticed with his sensory ability, as Sakura was making her way down in his direction. Move it, Naruto, says Sakura, screeching. No. Now sit down somewhere else and don't annoy me, says Naruto in a voice of command. Hold it, forehead. I'm sitting next to Sasuke, says Ino as more fangirls come up. Good grief, thought Naruto, ignoring and sitting with his eyes closed. Clueless, thought Sasuke. With Hiruzen. Hiruzen was in a room full of jonin as they were gathered in the room. Most promising new student Sasuke Uchiha. Is that him? Asked Asuma Sarutobi, son of Hiruzen and Biwako. Asuma was a tall man, with brown eyes, olive skin, short black spiky hair, and a beard. His clothing consisted of the standard Konoha ninja uniform with the sleeves rolled up halfway, flak jacket, regular shinobi sandals, and forehead protector. He also wore a sash that had the kanji for fire marked on it around his waist, a pair of black bangles, and bandages wrapped around the arms of his sleeves. Yes, he's the one, says Hiruzen, responding to his son. He's one of the many survivors of the Uchiha clan, and also its heir, says Kurenai Yuhi. Kurenai is a fair-skinned woman of slender build. She has long black untamed hair reaching her upper back, and very unique eyes that are red in color, with an additional ring in them. She wears makeup consisting of red lipstick and purple eyeshadow. Her regular outfit consists of a red mesh armor blouse with only the right sleeve visible. Overall, this is very broad material which resembles bandages with a pattern on it similar to those of rose thorns. Her hands and upper thighs are also wrapped in bandages, and she wears the Konoha forehead protector and regular shinobi sandals. That's right, says Hiruzen, replying with a nod. Says Kakashi as the crystal ball turns to Naruto, whose eyes fly open, looking directly at them, almost shocking them. Wait, he can see us? Asks Asuma, shocked. Yes, his sensory ability is very good along with his other skills that allowed him to graduate, says Hiruzen, making note of this. Naruto Uzumaki. Rookie of the Year, excels in every class. While starting to be known throughout the village as Konoha's Crimson Prince, says Kurenai, observing the red-haired boy. Yes, he is. But right now, it looks like he'll explode at the moment, says Kamadu, seeing his grandson's annoyed expression. Why? Asks some curious at that. He doesn't like fangirls, especially his and Sasuke's, says Tenjiro, seeing his nephew's look. Back with Naruto. Naruto was still looking at the spot but also noticed the fangirls were getting louder and louder, as a vein popped out on his forehead when they started arguing about who was cuter, Naruto or Sasuke, only adding fuel to the fire of Naruto's irritation. Sasuke, says Sasuke's fangirls. Naruto, says Naruto's fangirls. Sasuke, says Sasuke's fangirls louder. Naruto, says Naruto's fangirls louder. Shut up. You're freaking annoying, says Naruto, angry. With this being said by Naruto, his fangirls only started swooning over him even more now, causing Naruto to lay his face in left hand by sheer annoyance. Though that annoyance turned to anger, as he heard someone speak in the row below him. I don't understand why you all like this tomato-haired weirdo, says a boy yelling in the front row, who then caught a very freezing chill up his spine, as he looked back to see Naruto's face of death, while he cracked his knuckles. I didn't quite catch that. What the hell did you say about my hair? Says Naruto, about to unleash divine punishment. Back with Hiruzen. As usual, Naruto is always at the center of trouble and always prepared to fight someone over making comments on his hair, says Hiruzen, shaking his head a bit. TCH, not our fault, we look good with it, says Tanjiro on the matter, with a couple of them chuckling a bit. Back with Naruto. Okay, I will now announce the 3-man squads with your team leader a Jonin, says Iruka, beginning to go into lecture mode, as Naruto tunes him out until he hears his name. For the next few minutes, Iruka gave his speech on how proud he was of his now former students, only to go through the list of teams, now on the more interesting names now. Now Squad 7. Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha, says Iruka, getting their attention for the members of Squad 7. Naruto didn't seem at all bothered at all. Sasuke didn't say anything but just looked at Iruka for a moment, while Sakura hit her head on the table in front of her as Iruka spoke again. Now for Squad 8. Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburame, says Iruka, getting their attention for the members of Squad 8, as he spoke on the next few names. As for Squad 10. Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akimichi, says Iruka, getting there for the members of Squad 10. Once these names were said, Naruto decided to speak out in order to say something. Iruka-sensei, this doesn't seem to balance out the power in between the teams at all. The proof lies in the fact that the top students in the academy were placed onto one team, says Naruto. Naruto, you had the best scores of your class, Sasuke had the second best, along with Sakura being third. Now the reason for this was because the Hokage decided it. This was the best course of action when he decided on the team's Jonin, says Iruka, informing Naruto of this, as he nodded. Upon doing so, Naruto sat back down, only to hear one of his teammates next to him speak now. Just make sure you don't get in my way, loser, says Sasuke. Want to say that again? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but Iruka-sensei just said I had the best scores. If anyone's the loser here, it's you, duck ass, says Naruto, mocking his hair while making people in the class laugh at his comment. Sakura, for her part, didn't take kindly to this, as she spoke out now. Knock it off, Naruto, says Sakura, raising her voice, as Naruto turned to her. Sakura, shut your mouth. You may be one of the best on paper, but in terms of physical abilities, amongst other things, you're the weakest here, says Naruto, shocking her, as he continued. Considering you only pay attention to your looks instead of training, you literally have nothing to contribute to the conversation. So shut your mouth, says Naruto, sounding very neutral while also harsh, as he was truthful in his words. Alright. Settle down. After lunch you'll meet your Jonin teachers, class dismissed, says Iruka, finishing off with a smile. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura were now all waiting in the classroom. As Naruto was taking care of his sword, Sasuke was sitting with hands folded over his face brooding, and Sakura was asking him for dates. Though right now, Naruto from here noticed something. He's late, says Naruto as he finished cleaning the sword. But then again, that's Kakashi. He must be at the memorial stone, thought Naruto, remembering Iruka giving the names of their assigned Jonin after they came back from lunch. So now, Naruto took this time to assess the teammates. Sakura Haruno doesn't have any good individual skills. Sasuke Uchiha, heir to his clan along with being good at shuriken jutsu, hand-to-hand combat and fire style, thought Naruto. Then there's me. The all-around kind of shinobi, who works on more than one skill and can make an army, thought Naruto as he got up. Now walking over to the chalkboard, Naruto picked up the eraser as Sakura spoke out upon seeing this. Just be patient, he'll be here. And what are you doing? Asked Sakura, seeing him place something in the doorway to the class that was an eraser. Just a little something I want to try on him. Plus it's what he gets for being late, says Naruto with a grin. Our teacher's a Jonin, an elite shinobi. You think he'd fall for that? Asked Sasuke, not looking impressed. Sasuke's right. He wouldn't, says Sakura, agreeing with her crush. He will, says Naruto as someone came up to the door, showing it was Kakashi as he saw the eraser. Oh, this little trick, huh? Alright then, I'll play along, thought Kakashi, amused by this. As decided to start stepping into the room, letting it hit his head. Only for a few injutsu mark to open on the eraser and drench him in water, with Naruto laughing, as the others kind shocked that the man actually fell for it. Told you I'd get him. Seriously, you thought I was just gonna put up an eraser and not add something to it? Asked Naruto with a smug grin to Sasuke, who HN. Yeah, very funny. I'll get you back for this, Naruto. I can promise that much, thought Kakashi with the eyebrow twitching, as Sakura spoke now. Sorry, sensei, I told him not to do it but he wouldn't listen, says Sakura, trying to protect herself using excuses, but had a thought on the inside that it was a good shot at their sensei. He actually fell for that trick? But then again he added something to it. Is this guy really a Jonin? Thought Sasuke as Kakashi picked up the eraser. Yeah, very funny, Naruto. Now how can I put this? Asked Kakashi as he looked towards his team. Well, my first impression of all of you are that you're a bunch of idiots, says Kakashi, sounding very bored. And you're a perv, who reads porn in the open, says Naruto under his breath as Kakashi heard it but continued. Now meet me on the roof in 1 minute, says Kakashi, disappearing in a body flicker, as did Naruto, while the others ran to catch up and meet on the roof. Academy roof. So how you been, Kakashi? Or should I say Kakashi-sensei? Says Naruto with a smile. Naruto has known Kakashi since he was little and has only heard a few stories from him, and finding out he knew his parents because he was on his father's team when Minato was a Jonin. So Kakashi became something of an older brother for Naruto, so now he'd finally get to see him in action instead of hearing stories of what he's done. I've been doing fine, says Kakashi with a nod, as he continued. Gotta say, quick on your feet to get up here, says Kakashi, taking note of this. Yeah, wanted to see how you were doing before we start, says Naruto, going to sitting down now. As the other two members of his team arrived and sat down, with Sasuke wondering how he got up here so quickly. Alright, introduce yourself. Like, dislike, hobbies, dreams for the future, says Kakashi while reading Ika Paradise. Why don't you go first, sensei? Says Sakura, suggesting this. Alright, says Kakashi, now looking up from his book. I'm Kakashi Hatake. Things I like and things I hate, I don't feel like telling you that. My dreams for the future, I never really thought about it. As for my hobbies, I have many, says Kakashi, staying an enigma for the time being. All he told us was his name, thought all of them, with Naruto being amused. But it makes it all the more worth waiting for the test, thought Naruto, as Kakashi began to speak again. Okay, your turn. You on the right, you're first, says Kakashi to Naruto. Alright, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. Likes are my family and clan, Hana, training, nature as a whole, Ichiraku ramen, and my extended family outside of blood, along with learning new jutsu. Things I hate are people who can't let go of their hatred, arrogant attitudes, and people who treat the life of a shinobi like a game, and failing with my plans. My hobbies are training, gardening, reading, archery, kenjutsu, weightlifting, trying out new ramen, along with reading a small red book that goes well with the series, says Naruto, with Kakashi picking up on the last part with a thumbs up, as he continued. Lastly, for my dream, it's to spread the will of fire, bring peace to the shinobi world, and become Hokage for the legacy I uphold in the name of my family, says Naruto with determination. As his two teammates were shocked by the determination in his words, knowing he wasn't playing around, while Kakashi had a thought on these words. Well said, thought Kakashi as he looked over to Sakura. Alright. You're next, says Kakashi. I'm Sakura Haruno, My likes are home, my hobbies are dreams for the future are hee, says Sakura looking over to Sasuke while fangirling, as Kakashi looked exasperated but decided to speak. And what do you hate? Asked Kakashi, wanting her to get to the point. Naruto, says Sakura yelling. You're not a ball of sunshine either. Your chest is flat as board, says Naruto yelling with an angry expression, as Sakura became depressed at that comment. Girls her age are more interested in boys than in training, thought Kakashi with a sigh, as he looked over to Sasuke and spoke once more. Last one, says Kakashi to Sasuke. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I hate a lot of things and I don't particularly like anything. What I have is not a dream because I will make it a reality. I'm going to restore the lost honor of my clan and destroy a certain someone, says Sasuke, being really dark. It was quiet for a few moments as everyone looked at Sasuke, with Naruto having a bored look, sighing as he spoke. Good freaking grief, way to go and destroy the mood, says Naruto, being sarcastic, as he had a thought on this. He's so single-minded on revenge. If he doesn't let it go, it's going to consume and destroy him eventually, thought Naruto with a subtle, disappointed shake of his head. Sasuke is so cool, thought Sakura with a small blush on her crush's words. Just as I thought Kakashi, who heard these words from Sasuke. Good, you're each unique and you have your own ideas. We'll have our first mission tomorrow, says Kakashi as he continued. It's a task that the four of us will do together, a survival exercise and then some, says Kakashi, explaining, as he chuckles a bit only to continue further. Well, out of the 27 graduates from your specific class, only 9 will be accepted as genin, while the others will be sent back to the academy. Chances you fail is about around 66 to 70%, says Kakashi, getting all of their attention. Honestly, I knew everything about the academy was too damn easy, thought Naruto as he pushed this thought aside, as Kakashi stood up to speak again. Now as far as we go for the test, I decide whether you pass or fail. Be at the 3rd training ground tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., now you're dismissed, says Kakashi as he went to leave but remembers one last thing, and decides to speak again. Oh, you'd better skip breakfast, or you'll just throw it back up, says Kakashi, suggesting as he now disappeared in a body flicker. So with Kakashi gone at this bit of advice, Naruto was the first to stand up and turn to his other teammates, while beginning to speak. So considering we're going to be teammates from now on, we should get to know each other. How about lunch? Asks Naruto, suggesting to the two. When Sasuke heard this, he merely snorted and walked off with Sakura following. I don't have time to waste with an idiot, says Sasuke, being arrogant. I'd rather go eat with Sasuke, says Sakura, being a fangirl and following him. You know this a team, right? With us on it? You'll fail with this kind of attitude towards everything around you. You can't tackle everything yourself even in this test tomorrow, especially for someone who just graduated the academy, says Naruto, shouting to them as they were gone when he finished. Naruto, for his part, shook his head at this as they were gone now. They'll understand soon enough, says Naruto, talking about tomorrow, considering it's a test with their Jonin instructor. Don't pay it any mind for now, Naruto. Just prepare, says Kurama in the seal. I know, but if they don't get it in their heads that the world doesn't revolve around them, then this team as a whole will fail. But it won't be my problem, cause tomorrow they'll see it for themselves, thought Naruto, responding as he turned. Naruto went to leap off the railing towards his clan district forest. Afterwards, thinking he'd probably train for a bit in one of the clan training halls and then prepare for tomorrow. Senju Uzumaki District Forest. It was currently sunset, as Naruto was in a tree with Hana as he laid his head in her lap. Hana was rubbing his whisker marks as they watched the sunset, but now on her right-hand ring finger was beautiful ring of silver she had got from Naruto, which was red and bore the kanji for whirlpool, Yuzu. So as they were enjoying the peace and quiet, Hana had a question for him and decided she should ask him. So, how much are you going to let loose tomorrow? Asked Hana, curious on what Naruto would do tomorrow in the test. Just enough. I may have the upper hand in certain areas, but Kakashi's been doing this for years. I'll most likely get my ass handed to me by Kakashi, considering he's a Jonin, says Naruto, assessing thing. This got Hana to nod at these truthful words, and speak on her suggestion to him. Well, Naruto, start off with taijutsu and then throw out a bit of genjutsu while adding ninjutsu into the mix. Later into the test, complement it with shuriken jutsu, says Hana as she continued with Naruto paying attention. An upfront battle from the start won't work, so use the fight to assess first and then attack from a distance with traps added in the mix along with fuinjutsu and kenjutsu, says Hana, finishing up her suggestion to him. This suggestion got Naruto to think for a moment as he spoke now. I can already see it now, says Naruto, already devising the plan in his head as he looked up at Hana to speak again. You know I'm glad you're always there to help me, being my right hand and all, says Naruto, putting his hand over hers with a content smile. And I'll continue to be there for you. Always, says Hana with a reassuring tone, while looking at him with a smile. Same goes for me, says Naruto with a small content smirk. With this being said, the both of them continued to watch the sunset in peace and quiet while enjoying their time together. Later. It was currently nighttime over Konoha, as Naruto was currently in the garden of the main house while sitting on the wooden walkway. Earlier when he came back, he prepared all of his gear for tomorrow and was now enjoying the quietness as Makino walked up. Naruto? Asks Makino while getting her nephew's attention, as she continued speaking. Don't you have your exercise tomorrow with your team? You should get some rest for it, says Makino, suggesting this to her nephew. I will, auntie, I'm just planning out my strategy more before tomorrow, says Naruto, reassuring her of that. Makino nodded, but decided to ask her nephew another question. So what do you think of your teammates? Asks Makino, curious about that. Well, for one, the brooding idiot with duck hair is so caught up in his need for revenge that he seems like he'll take any route in order to get. As for the second one on my team, she's a fangirl through and through. She needs to get her act together or she'll be killed in a mission, but then again, Kakashi might do the job of straightening her out, says Naruto, giving his assessment. This shocks Makino a bit, as she spoke once more. You really think Sasuke is like that? Asks Makino, shocked by her nephew's assessment. He saw half of his clan dead in his own home district, and his own older brother confessed to killing his father and the clan elders, along with the fact that he used genjutsu and words to screw with Sasuke's head, ultimately making Sasuke crazed and obsessed for vengeance even though half of his clan still lives, says Naruto as he continued. I just hope Kakashi can get him to let go of this, or else people are going to start noticing his attitude than what it already is now, says Naruto, finishing up. I see, says Makino, nodding as she thought about it, only to continue speaking for a final time. Okay, well, don't worry so much about it, but make sure to get some sleep, says Makino with a smile as she walked away. When she left fully, Naruto sat there for a few moments and looked up at the moon with a thought. Assess, strategize, prepare, and then strike, thought Naruto, getting up and walking to his room to get some sleep. The next morning, Naruto woke up at 6:30, got ready for the day, changed into his outfit, ate breakfast and left out the door. It didn't take him too long to find the third training ground, so now we find him at the training ground to see Sasuke and Sakura waiting as they notice him walk up. You're late, says Sakura, irritated. Kakashi-sensei's not here, so in actuality, I'm not, says Naruto as he climbs into a tree to sit down and wait while now deciding to read a book on Fuinjutsu while eating an apple to pass the time until Kakashi would get there. Naruto, Kakashi-sensei said not to eat, says Sakura, yelling. Really? Don't remember, says Naruto, enjoying his apple and reading the book. What an idiot. You've already failed and just don't see it, loser, says Sasuke, brooding from where he's sitting. Oh, ya duck ass? Because I don't see it that way, says Naruto from his spot, with Sasuke getting a tick mark at the comment about his hair. As time would pass, the other two teammates of Naruto would grow even more impatient with waiting for their sensei, Kakashi. Sometime later. It had been a good 2 hours since Naruto got there, and now Kakashi finally arrived at the training ground while getting their attention. You're late, says Sakura, angry while yelling. Well, a black cat crossed my path, so I had to take the long way, says Kakashi, with Naruto looking on with a blank face, Sakura looking angry at such an excuse, and Sasuke looking on irritated. Yeah, Kakashi needs to be a bit better with his excuses, thought Naruto with a sweat drop, as Kakashi continued to speak now.